City, do you know how women make money in Nairobi?
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know, eh? Let me tell you how they make it. They call people like me. That's the only way they make it. Wasichana watu wanaonanga kwa maofisi huku town Nairobi, sijui wamevaa high heels wakienda kazini. They're not depending on their salaries.
They're profiling people, you know that.
I've been nakushow. City, me, I'm telling you. See me nakwambia.
Yeah, nakusikia.
Yeah, I know you're older than me, but I'm telling you, me, I know these things.
What is really surprising?
Tell me.
Even I know I'm older than you.
Yes.
Yes. So we share the same knowledge.
But the reason I brought it up is probably there's someone who's listening to us and doesn't know that you're older than me. So I'm doing it for their benefit. But
I didn't suddenly become younger when I came to the generation.
Clearly, I know. Yeah. So I'm telling you that women in Nairobi, that's how they're making money nowadays. So in case you know, you get that random call from that random Jennifer.
Why would I get a random call, Chief?
Oh, you don't get those kinds?
No, I don't.
Do you live in Nairobi?
I do.
You actually even do shopping in Nairobi?
I do.
And you don't get random calls?
No.
Zile za City mambo, oh my god, like nilikusikiza leo radio generation ulikuwa na sound poa, akinisaidia na doya lunch. You don't get such?
No, I don't.
Wow. How can I be like you, City?
Just get old.
Or when you were younger, you were getting those kinds of requests?
When I was young, there were no cell phones.
Okay, they used to call you on the telephone booth.
I was a teacher, so you're going to have to call the school, and if I'm in class, nobody's going to call me.
Yeah, I honestly envy your life. I do envy your life.
By the time cell phones came into being, again, different generation.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Dates were made well in advance. Yeah. Tumeenda kunywa chai leo. Saturday.
Ilipangwa last week.
Unapanga for the following week.
Yeah. Aye. So,
and if you wanted to talk to someone, you tended to go to look for them.
Okay.
You knew where they worked.
Yeah. Can I tell you what used to happen back in the day when, you know, you were a teenager?
When I was a teenager?
Yeah,
right,
which I am not even sure when that is, but I'm assuming that probably in 1972 you were not a teenager.
In 1972 I was in Form 1.
You were in Form 1? So you were a teenager. So let me tell you what happened in 1972, and probably you know about it. The Munich massacre occurred during the Olympic Games, where 11 Israeli athletes and coaches were taken hostage and later killed by the Palestinian terrorist group Black September.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
In those days, those terrorist groups, they were fashionable.
Yeah.
Italy had their own terror gangs.
Yeah.
Germany had their own terror gangs. Now, Latin America, I think that was the breeding ground for terror gangs.
Latin America?
Yes.
What people know as South America?
Yes.
Was a breeding ground for terrorists.
Yeah, many of them ended up, they were actually freedom fighters, but some people labeled them terrorists, like Shining Path in Peru, people like that.
Yeah.
Even Japan had their own brand of young people who were protesting. I'm not quite certain what about, but terror gangs.
But they did it, yeah.
They were known to kidnap people, stuff like that, to make a point.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
Red Brigade. I mean, there were quite a number. Germany had their own. So when you say Black September, that's what they call themselves. The other thing that was later found that these groups tended to communicate with each other, so they knew each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was a massacre where apparently now they took hostage rather, of 11 Israeli athletes and coaches, and then they went and killed them, according to this particular story.
It was a terrible, terrible thing.
But why did they kill them, though? And why did you say allegedly?
I didn't say allegedly. The allegedly was when it is said it is them who did it.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay.
There may be collaboration with other people. That when, in those days one didn't see it, and one didn't understand how the West curates the information. And how it is given the certain slant sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes. To paint certain people in a certain light.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some of these things actually remind me that we live in a very unique country as Kenya. We don't have those kinds of issues. And I'm not saying that we are better than them. I'm just saying that I think we have our own brand of problems, but they are manageable.
Like this issue that we read about in Mandera. Have you seen any picture of these people who have occupied schools?
to be honest, there was a picture yesterday on the Star of
yes, of people protesting,
and also of a militant group.
How do you know that picture was taken in Mandera?
I would like to believe that the Star did their due diligence, and
I am not giving anybody the benefit of doubt.
Okay.
I am not. Because let me ask you, do you really think, for instance, if schools had been shut, you think Kupet and Nat would simply keep quiet about it? Because if schools are shut down, then there's the issue of the teachers and their lives may be in danger.
Yes.
Do you hear them kicking a fuss?
Okay, I've not heard or read anything from Kupet.
Precisely. What I am saying is that I hear the story that is being spoken of.
Yes.
I hear there's a problem in Mandera. Okay? But there is a very distinct absence of ample information or corroboration for me to understand what is really going on.
Sidi, do you know, sometimes I think you might be overthinking some of these issues.
I like to overthink because, to be honest with you, okay? If you were told
yes,
that there was a siege in Westgate,
right,
you see pictures of Westgate and you see what is happening. So you know something is happening in Westgate.
So I get your skepticism, and of course I get the fact that you're asking these questions. Fine,
I'm asking because
you're helping me also ask the same questions and now start also thinking in that direction. Perhaps another question I would ask myself is, okay, why is Kupet quiet? Why is Nat quiet? Why is probably TSC quiet?
Why is it only one picture? For something that has received so much publicity, should we not have had more pictorial evidence of what is happening?
Where is NPA, the National Parents Association?
I mean, I'm simply saying there are all these things that usually accompany such an event.
So, question number 3. Why would the Star put that picture yesterday, and why are we seeing all these other conversations happening online as far as Jubaland forces are concerned?
You know what I don't understand? Of all the areas of Somalia rather, Jubaland is closest to us.
Okay.
We border with them.
Yes.
So you want to ask yourself, the governing of that particular country is fragmented. There are individuals who claim to be the supreme leader of the entirety of that particular. But there are those who would argue that no, there are people who own pockets of certain areas.
Yes.
They are the warlords in those areas. All right? Many of the problems that we see in the northeastern part of the country, whether it is in Marsabit, whether it's in Garissa, Mandera, they tend to be clan problems.
Yes.
Clan. Those clans that exist within our boundaries are similar to the clans that exist in Somalia. So if there's a problem within clans, this is my thinking.
Yes.
There, it is very easy, it will spill over. For instance, when you hear of the Oromo,
yes,
the Oromo are Borana in our country, right? So when you hear the Oromo Liberation Front, okay? Essentially, they are Boranas.
Okay.
Okay? So if there is an issue that involves the Oromo in Ethiopia,
yes,
the people here feel they have actually been affected. They're the same people.
Yes.
Okay? We do have communities within the larger East and Central Africa where the people are represented across borders. Samia, Korea, there are Wajaluo, Masai, Somalia, so Borana. They exist in other countries.
Okay.
Yeah. So once there is a problem and you understand that locally we have those problems, yes, someone's goat was taken, some people were killed, they went to retaliate. What makes you think it will not stop? But then there's a larger discussion here. Ask yourself a simple question. One of the problems that Kenya has had for the longest time was Al-Shabaab crossing the border.
Yeah.
We don't hear it very often. Every once in a while you hear KDF killed a few people. Okay?
Yep.
Now, this is hypothesis. When you hear of such stories,
yes,
instead of believing it, this is my knee-jerk reaction. I ask questions.
Sawa. Ushasema. Food for thought. Let's think about it, and perhaps when we get the opportunity, I think we need to ask the right people those questions that you're talking about. All right. So, uko na methali ya leo ama tuingie straight into the
Well, Sasa, you want to move straight into the what exactly? Okay, let's move straight into the...
Aya, tupatie methali basi.
Wajua, what I think I will be doing from this coming week,
Yes.
I will be a little more specific about proverbs.
Yep.
I'm going to start with proverbs from Kenya. And I'm going to go through regions.
Yes.
And we'll look at the proverbs, should we say, that resonate with the day and the things that we do.
Yes.
But from Kenya.
Yes, indeed.
We'll focus on Kenya.
Yes.
Yes. Now, my friend, you're talking about a proverb. We are still in Africa. This is perseverance and success. Okay?
Perseverance and success.
Yes. However long the night, the dawn will break.
However long the night,
the dawn will break.
Well said. Hata nini fanyike. Basically, no matter how your troubles are, no matter how deep or how long you think your troubles have lasted, dawn will always. So that means they will always end at one point. Haya, kuna msanii alisema kuteseka ni kwa muda. I think it was Jimmy Gate. What happened to Jimmy Gate, by the way? We shall also find him and ask him one of these fine days.
That gentleman was a singer, was he not?
Yes, gospel artist, yes. Yeah. Umesalibiwa na Tunechi, amesema good morning RG fraternity. Good morning Tunechi. Wafula team amesema good morning. Then he went straight for the jugular. Amesema William Ruto is up to no good. That's according to Wafula. Wafula, thank you for your interaction. You said that William Ruto is up to no good for this country. Sawa. I hope you guys are ready for the lineup today because the show is going to be moto, like properly moto. Let's get on to rgk.co.ke and let's see what is on the top stories as far as trends are concerned. Remember, you could always watch us on that particular website as well, Tuko pale live and direct. So this is one of the stories here. Witnesses narrate starvation and denial of education in Shakahola case. Yeah, witnesses narrate starvation and denial of education in Shakahola case. I think when I'm starving, education is the last thing on my mind. When I'm being, because remember what's his name, Irungu Houghton, when he was here, he said Houghton. Yes, I'll keep on getting it wrong until I get it right. Houghton. So Irungu Houghton said that some of these folks were being bludgeoned as well.
Yes,
I think when I'm being beaten to death,
the autopsy,
education is the last thing on my mind.
The autopsy results indicated that they call it blunt instrument trauma. You could see that this person had been beaten to death. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Yes.
This Shakahola situation, kidogo iko na tricks mingi. Taxpayers to bear 25 billion fines from delayed government bill payments. Wait, what? I have to open this one. So this one is by Tanya Wanjiko. 6 minutes ago, this is what she has told us. Kenyans will shoulder an extra burden of 25.3 billion in penalties following prolonged delays in settling pending bills by the national government. Control of Budget Margaret Nyakango has disclosed. In her full year report for the 2024-2025 financial year, Nyakango said the penalties are charged on top of the original pending bills, meaning taxpayers will eventually pay more because the Treasury failed to clear debts in good time. She noted that pending bills rose by 9 billion within a single year, making the problem one of the most pressing financial concerns for the government. Why am I being charged for the government delay?
Because you are the government, sir.
No. Okay, fine. I mean,
You are the government.
But why am I being charged extra?
Because you didn't pay the people you owe money on time.
So how do I ensure that the government that I own pays people on time?
That I do not know.
Yeah.
That is the eternal quest, and this is what people now seem to be trying to decipher, trying to understand better. And these are the nuggets that politics is made of. You'll find that now you'll have people who want to give us the impression that they would make better leaders than the current ones we have.
Yes.
This is the fodder that they feed on. Yes.
Well, there's a story about Ebola. When is the last time we heard about Ebola?
I am not certain.
but there are places where they hear about Ebola on a daily. So Samuel Otieno ametuandikia hivi: an Ebola outbreak in Kasai Province, Democratic Republic of Congo, has left 16 people dead, including 4 health workers, the Ministry of Public Health confirmed on Thursday. Now, the ministry reported 28 suspected cases in the Bulape and Mweka health zones, where patients have shown symptoms such as fever, vomiting, diarrhea, and hemorrhage. Wajua, kuna shida moja ya mimi uwanga nasema siezi taka, na ni shida ya maradhi, magonjwa. Si tunataka mashida mengine, lakini specifically ya maradhi. You know, this one can actually get to, and there are some things you can escape. You can escape war, you can escape drought, but it's almost impossible to escape a disease, especially one as bad as Ebola. Yeah. And it keeps on appearing and disappearing and reappearing all the time. Congo, Kenyan side is Western Africa. There's a time Ebola was such a big deal, and there was a foreigner in Africa who got it, and he was an American. And immediately he contracted that disease. He was flown to his home state. Can't remember if it was California or Florida, but it was one of those, places. And when he got there, he was completely cured of Ebola, a disease that had killed hundreds of people in Africa at the time he got that particular. And this was before COVID-19.
How do you know it was actually Ebola?
Because it was actually reported by Akina CNN, BBC, and the likes. So he got it.
So essentially you're saying there is a cure for Ebola?
Yes. They got him on a plane immediately, flew him to the States, healed him of this, cured him of this particular disease. And I remember that time there was a lot of outrage. People asking, okay, so here in Africa, people get it within, hours, they're dead. This guy gets it, he's diagnosed, and they confirm, yes, it is Ebola. They fly him out, he's cured. Watu wakauliza, hizi ni theatrics gani tunachezewa?
It's called healing.
Miraculous healing. Aliombewa?
Hapana, sidhani. Alidungwa shindano.
Napona si atudungu hizo shindano?
Sinategemea nini iko ndani ya hiyo shindano?
COVID ilikuja, ikaanzia huko, tuliambiwa ilianzia China, spread to the rest of the world. Africa tukafikiwa. But we were seeing a lot of European countries losing people in droves.
Me, that one, the opposite happened. There were predictions that we would be falling like flies in the street because of COVID.
Who is we?
Africans,
okay.
Didn't happen. Didn't happen at all.
Because of our what? Because of our culture, our way of living?
The thing is, scientists seem very hard pressed to explain it after some leading lights had gone out of town, out of their way to say how we're going to, fall. Nothing of that sort happened.
Well, they're like, Africa's going to die. This folks is going to die in the droves.
My friend, when I say dropping down like flies, I'm not exaggerating. Those were actually words that were uttered.
Or someone actually said these words.
Yes. The complete opposite is what happened.
You're repeating verbatim.
The complete opposite is what actually happened in the West. People died, my friend.
Because I remember, like in Italy, it was a serious problem.
All the countries of the West that have aging populations, people died. And they do have aging populations.
Yeah.
Remember, when you talk about disease, the microorganisms that cause disease will meet resistance from your immune system.
Yes.
Now, this is what I'm about to say was a theory that was disputed by many people who claim to be renowned scientists. That one, on this continent, an average African is confronted with so many ailments at a certain point in time, so many, that the system is actually robust enough to deal with a new one because it already is accustomed to dealing with so many. Okay? Now, I would say, no, that is not true, but that's how the immune system works actually.
Yes.
And that's why when you look at something like HIV, some of the treatment that you were given were immune boosters. Something to give your immune system a boost, like something called food by prescription.
Yes.
It was something that you made into a porridge or a gruel. It had all manner of things inside it. Egg, nuts, vitamin, God knows what.
Porridge?
Well,
that has eggs?
No. It It wasn't a porridge.
Oh, it was a porridge like.
Ilikuwa ni unga.
Okay.
That's why it's called food by prescription. It was given to people who are HIV positive, who couldn't eat and were emaciated. That thing gave you a boost like nothing. They even delightful stuff.
Oh, so ilikuwa unga already imeshasiagwa, imetengenezwa na hizo vitu ndani.
Ziko na zati inaweka ukiona.
Inakuja. I thought someone starts making porridge and they take an egg and crack it open. Kakaka. Hiyo sitakula.
No bro, that one is not what happens. It happens before you see it.
Okay.
What you see is the mix.
All right.
Which now when you add water and heat and the other things, yes.
Now becomes that liquid.
That is exactly what happens. So, that mixture helped very, very many people. And I remember the packaging, a gift from the people of the USA.
Yes.
Because that is stating that it's the taxpayers' money that buys those things.
Actually, I think USAID's slogan was "From the American people."
I paraphrase, but you are right.
Yes.
In what you said.
From the American people.
And it was. That food by prescription was a wonderful thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Because it's in porridge form, so you don't have to chew it. But it works wonders.
Ukisha kunywa after like 30 or so minutes.
Unakuwa strong.
Unaweza simama. No, nikisema simama na maanisha you can stand up, you can get up from your seat.
That is what I assumed you were saying.
Okay.
Ulikuwa nafikiria nasema nini?
Bwana, unajua kuongea nayo siku hizi CT is confusing. Let's check out this next story. Ruto affirms plan to employ UHC staff on permanent pensionable terms. Let's see what they're saying.
The whole world is going contract.
Yeah. So the government will hire universal health coverage workers currently on contract terms on permanent and pensionable terms. President William Ruto has announced. The president urged counties to support the initiative so that the more than 7,500 workers can begin earning enhanced pay under the new terms.
But I have to ask the question.
Please ask.
We are contracting even people who already work in government. People who are permanent and pensionable are being eased out. So now you want to employ these new people as permanent and pensionable.
Yes.
Do we have the money? Because you know it involves money.
Oh yes, it does, and I'm sure they know it.
All right. I take the view that there are things about this that I don't know or hasn't been reported. So we will wait and see.
Because he has said the president urged counties to support the initiative so that the more than 7,500 workers can begin earning enhanced pay under the new terms this month.
With which money?
Do you know the president actually said like when was it? A couple of days ago. He said that Shah is going to start paying for vulnerable individuals.
Yes, I heard that. I heard.
Yeah,
and then I even read.
When hawajiwezi, so akaambia MPs, find some money somewhere in your budgets, contribute to the kitty. He asked counties, that is through the governors, find something in your kitty. Something in your fund, put into the kitty. And then he said him personally, he said he's going to pay for $1 million from the funds that are allocated to the executive or the office of the president. I don't know what he meant by that, but that's what he said. So atatafuta mahali pesa itapatikana, walipie watu huko. Yeah. So again, now he's come back and urged the counties to support the initiative. How the counties rather will support, I don't know. The president is looking healthier nowadays. I'm looking at a photo here. Kuna kautambi kameanza kutokezea.
Do you know how exhausting
the presidency is?
Aye, man, that thing ages people.
When he was elected president, he actually was alikuwa ameshiba kidogo, acha nitumie hilo jina. Alikuwa ameshiba. And then when a few months after akaanza kukonda, and even it was all over the media, the president might not be okay, that other stories ikatokezea. But lately I'm looking at him and I'm thinking ni kama stress imeanza kupungua. Because even last year during maandamano, when Kenyans went to the streets, you could see that this guy was actually stressed.
Did you see how the former president of the US, Barack Obama, aged?
Yes, I did.
That job? No.
Inakukula kichwa.
Yeah.
Sleepless nights.
I don't know why people want that job. I honestly don't.
There are people who survive through pressure like that. They actually thrive in that environment.
What I can assure you that most people don't know what they're asking for.
Yeah. until they get there.
That's that aging, you see, because then you realize, God Almighty, what is this that I got myself into?
You remember we were told at one point, even by President Tutu himself at the time when he was DP, that President Uhuru didn't want to run for the second term. They literally had to push him into agreeing to run for a second term. Maybe hata yeye alifika mahali akasema, guys, what the hell? 2 billion napotea daily.
Nobody thanks you for the things you are doing, and every little thing that is considered to be a problem will be hyped, and you will be blamed.
Yeah.
You will be blamed for everything. People don't have food. It's your fault.
Yes.
It's not raining.
It's
it is
your fault. Yeah.
The sun is shining and there's a drought. It is your fault.
But City, that is what it means being in charge.
Really?
To be honest, and let me tell you before.
Really?
City, skiza. You see, when you're the chief executive of the country, at the end of the day, mimi sijui, like for example, to be honest, I don't even know my area chief's name. I know where the office is, but I don't know his name.
Area as in home or area where you live?
Hapa tu Malindi naishi sio Kimau. I don't know.
You have a chief?
There is a chief. Nani wapi hakuna chief?
I'm just asking. The place where the chief is not near, so you don't know where.
No, there is. I actually even know where the office is, but I don't know whether it's a female or a male chief.
You don't know?
I don't know.
You failed this exam.
Let me tell you why. Because I haven't gotten to a point whereby I honestly need to engage my chief.
But just go and say hello.
But I haven't got, like, I don't, like, I will go.
Hello.
You see, introducing yourself to these people also, inafungwanga barabara nyingi zingine ama milango zingine utaki kuzifungulia.
Hello.
It's okay. For instance, I know the OCS. I know the OCS of the police station nearest to my home. Why? Because I had to engage him sometime last year. Tulipata msiba fulani, so I had to go and see him. So at least him, I know him. But you see, that engagement also sometimes inafungwanga, and for us people in media, for us, we like to call ourselves public figure, inafungwanga dirisha zingine utaki zifunguliwe.
Kama gani?
Utashindwa ukipigwa simu zingine unashangaa sasa hii simu shwali.
Tunashika tu.
You know what? Tufanye kitu inaitwa traffic. City, I don't. Wewe unajua area chief wako?
No.
Mnachapanga story?
No.
Na mbona unaniingilia wewe?
I don't have excuses. I just don't know the person.
City uko na mchezo mingi sana. Let's do a little bit of traffic here. Let me see. Traffic. Yeah. Here we go. I'm looking at the roads of Nairobi. Kama kawaida, it is now 6:30 on the dot, and the traffic spots are as usual. But for the sake of those who are probably tuning in for the first time, ama umeingia Nairobi for the first time, unasema acha nisikie traffic iko wapi. Muthaiga Square, bumper to bumper. So if you're coming from Survey, getting into inaitwa nini, Pangani, hapo mko bumper to bumper. Juja Road, there's a little bit of traffic where Juja Road meets Ring Road Ngara. There's a lot of traffic right there, but it's fairly short. I can see the stretch is fairly short, so that means it's probably because of traffic lights or traffic cops who are somewhere there controlling the traffic. I'm also looking at Kenyatta Avenue at this particular hour. There's a little bit of traffic when you're getting into the CBD. If you're coming from Maeneo Valley Road, and ndio kuna traffic kidogo. After that kila kitu iko sawa sawa. Then on Ngong Road pale karibu na 5th Avenue Suits, there's a yellow line, so that means there's traffic but it's moving nonetheless. And then there's also similar traffic along the stretch where Ngong Road meets Valley Road at the roundabout, but that's expected because it's a roundabout, so you guys are moving nonetheless. Mombasa Road, no complaints coming from this particular area. I can tell you for a fact you guys are moving quite well. Langata Road as well, no complaints. I can see the road is completely green all the way from Bomas of Kenya into the CBD. But any other incidences that do occur, I'll definitely let you know.
Traffic on Radio Generation.
Jamaa ajui chifu wake alafu mimi ananiambia nene nikajue chifu wangu. Surely, who does that? Let's start with the Standard newspaper. The very front page, it says deceitful spending.
There's a story Qualify that particular headline.
Let me just read a small excerpt here. They've said accountability. Now, in an attempt to circumvent scrutiny, the government has in select instances spent taxpayers' money without parliamentary approval, exploiting a provision in the constitution that allows the treasury to spend without house approval only on emergencies such as natural calamities. However, the government has kept using funds not cleared by parliament in total disregard for best practice in budget management, which smacks of deceit as Mwananchi struggles under the weight of high taxes. So does that sound like they have qualified that headline?
No. Doesn't sound like they've qualified it.
Deceitful spending? Using money meant for emergency for other purposes? You remember 2 days ago we read a similar story?
Are you saying that the government cannot determine that monies which were supposed to go to a specific space and was budgeted for that cannot be moved to something else?
Ask that question again. Am I saying that the government is not wise enough to do it?
No, not wise. I am saying, does the government not have the leeway to move money already budgeted for something else
Yes.
to what they consider appropriate at that particular point in time? I'm simply saying it happens all the time. There is a process by which it should happen, and it starts by going to parliament. Okay? Because it's parliament, this is a budget making parliament. So they want to say, this is what we are going to spend, and we're going to spend it for this. So if you want to spend it for something else, you go back to them.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So what exactly are they saying? That the money was diverted without following due process?
Yes, they are actually saying that.
That's what they're saying?
Yes.
Have they written that?
Can I read it again?
Please.
Deceitful spending. That is the headline.
That's headline.
And then the sub-headline is accountability. In an attempt to circumvent scrutiny, the government has in select instances spent taxpayers' money without parliamentary approval. So to answer you directly, yes, they have spent without approval from parliament, exploiting a provision in the constitution that allows the treasury to spend without house approval only on emergencies such as natural calamities. However, the government has kept using funds not cleared by parliament in total disregard for best practice in budget management, which smacks of deceit as Mwananchi struggles under the weight of high taxes.
Spot on. They've done an excellent job. They've explained it well.
Yes. So we have agreed that gava inatumia pesa kwa njia ambayo haifai. Yet, I mean, so that's why they've called it deceitful
And I'm saying
spending.
it's not the first time.
Yes. So should it be excused because it's not the first time?
It cannot be excused.
Right. So why are we having this exchange?
It's not an exchange, it's a contribution.
Oh, because I thought maybe ulikuwa nakataa kenye kimeandikwa
No,
hapa.
I'm contributing what you're saying. When I said it's not the first time,
Yes.
what they're referring to as deceitful spending has occurred before. That's what I am saying.
Okay. Remember 2 days ago, we actually read that government had withdrawn about, was it 2 billion? 2 point something billion. Was it 3 billion? I think it was 3.6 billion. They had withdrawn 3.6 in the name of emergencies for travel by State House, hospitality, and what else? There were like 3 items that were mentioned in there.
You know, if one believed everything that one reads, you get the impression that the picture that is being painted here is of a group of some really irresponsible people who just spend public funds as though it's their own.
Yeah.
Wantonly. Yani,
Chukua venye unataka.
Nani? Utakuja kuchukua 2 billion. So, Arisha. That's the image you get.
Yeah.
And then
And I think that's actually the image.
Yeah, it is. So I'm forced to think. So what do? When they go to what? Central Bank. And there's the entrance for supplies. So you reverse this lorry.
Yeah.
And then they load the 2 billion.
Yes.
Hey.
Someone has the government of Kenya ATM card, the debit or credit card. They're just swiping it the way they want.
That's the impression one gets. And I'm asking, you see that? Now that one I'm asking the question, is that really the case?
I think it is the case, because if it wasn't, then is it control of budget who flagged this? It is Nani, it is Auditor General, one of them. did flag that. I think it was the Auditor General.
You know the beautiful thing about Treasury and the systems of government, all these things are documented.
Yeah.
If you just take the time and bother to understand the links and where it is you can get this information, it's actually available to the public. Yes.
And that's why actually when Nani, Auditor General, said that thing 2 days ago, they said specifically for travel, hospitality.
You touch government money, it's documented. Whatever you say you're spending it on is documented. So we know.
But here I have a question, City. In every budget mi zenye nimetengeneza, maybe you can tell me zenye umetengeneza, kama sisi nakuanga na mali pa miscellaneous budget, miscellaneous spending
Iko.
such that you first of all budget for everything. You say this is rent, this is fuel money, food, shopping, nywele ya bibi ndio hii, kunyolewa kwa watoto ndio hii, and then you leave a bit zile za just in case, unforeseen circumstances.
It's called iende ikawa.
Iende ikawa. Unaweka hapo 10,000 for example. Sio ndio walikuwa nafaa kuchukua waseme.
The picture that has been painted of this government is that they spend wantonly.
Yeah.
They spend. Okay? And they just spend. When you are informed or you read about them having overshot the budget for, say, travel. And this is not news that is happening now. When the president was the deputy, that was an issue. His crisscrossing the continent and flying. And what was then presented in the media was that he had overshot whatever budget, travel budget he had. Because he just spent. That's why I'm using the word wanton spending. He just spends and spends and spends and spends. And so when we have a story of that nature, where some 2 billion was just taken for emergency, which according to that particular writing was not really emergency if you compare it with what are real emergencies.
Yeah.
So you say, but wait. Why are these guys joking around with the public funds? Because that's what it amounts to.
Yeah.
Yes. But the picture that is being painted is not a pleasant one.
You know what I mean? Now the problem I have is there usually almost zero consequences for this kind of spending.
Actually, most people believe what you believe. I don't. There are always consequences.
So the consequences I'm talking about, consequences for us as Kenyans, there will be consequences because money has been spent where it wasn't supposed to be spent, and they need to recover that money somehow. How do they do it? Come back to us, overtax us, or do whatever it is that they will do to us. Borrow more money from international community, then we are back to the same story of overtaxation and da. But I'm talking about consequences to the individuals who are actually withdrawing this money.
I still remember very early in the first year of this UDA Kenya Kwanza government. Alice Wahome was then Minister for Water. And I remember an issue appeared in the papers regarding money that had been allocated to Murang'a County for the building of a dam. Some of that money vanished. And suddenly, the total amount had been divvied up among certain NGOs, which was doing some water-related activities in the eastern part of the country. And I remember she kicked a fuss about it and said, what do you mean? They budgeted, passed by Parliament. How do you just take the money? So when I say that this isn't the first time, that is one incident that I'm mentioning. Okay? There seem to be individuals within this government, if we're to believe everything that is reported and spoken of, who seem to think that they can actually subjugate and they can ignore any laid down processes, legal procedures and processes, and they can just do exactly what they want. Now, of this I'm saying there are always consequences.
Yeah.
These governors who have been impeached, you think when they were campaigning, they were thinking they might be impeached one day. If they were thinking that way, they wouldn't do this. They wouldn't be involved in the nonsense that we read about.
Yeah.
When you find there's a governor whose ill-gotten gains, according to what we read, is being now taken back by the government, you think when they were looting this money and buying whatever it is that they were buying, you think it occurred to them that a time may come when they may have to refund all these things. It doesn't occur to them. when you find that there's somebody who has, God knows, an inordinate amount of money in the house and is found, you think when they put that money in the house, they took that money so that people could find it? There are always consequences. Always. And we may not read about it, we may not know about it, but there are always consequences.
So are we saying that there are public officials who actually arrested and the money is taken away from them?
Yes.
That money is recovered?
Recovered, and even the properties that you bought are recovered. It happened. It was reported about the governor, the immediate former governor of Migori. That happened to him.
That's Obado, right?
Yes.
But me, I'm still on this particular issue of overspending by Gava. Because I don't see at any one point CS Mbadi, for instance, being I don't want to use the word punished, but reprimanded for this kind of spending.
Remember, the body that releases funds within Treasury is independent. Control of budget is independent of Mbadi. Okay? So unless there's a loophole that they have that allows them to withdraw money, because if it goes to the control of budget, it will be flagged and it will be stopped. So unless that article goes forth to tell us that they have found a way in which they can circumvent laid down procedures beyond just ignoring them, because what is being presented, they ignore it and they decide this is what we're going to do. But for money to actually leave the Treasury, remember when you say Treasury, it's not as though the Finance Ministry has a vault in there where they keep money. Government money is in CBK, Central Bank. So for that money to be released, it's a process. It's a serious process.
So when they went and withdrew money meant for emergency, what did they tell the COB, control of budget? They went and said to the office that, hey, so there's a flood in Kitui.
This is what I'm trying to tell
you. We need 1.2 billion.
What makes you think they went and told the control of budgets?
But you've just told me that that independent office is the one that releases that money.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For this to occur, it would appear that they found ways of circumventing the process and procedure.
So they went and withdrew the money by force. Bila COB kujua.
No. All you need to do is change certain regulations quietly without the whole world knowing that you've changed those regulations. When you change the regulations, then you can bypass certain steps.
They have just said that that money that was withdrawn is money meant for emergency. So that means, according to the COB, there's X amount of money that has been kept aside for emergency.
The government has an account with the central bank. Funds are allocated for specific activities. That's why you know it was meant for emergencies. Under the emergency fund, we have 10 billion. Under emergency fund...
Is that a fact or it's just like an example?
The amounts are what I'm making up as I go along.
Okay.
But that is how it is. Every ministry, when you talk about funding by the ministry, they have accounts. Yes. Yesterday, when we had the Director General of e-Citizen, he said they receive the money and then they...
take it to Treasury.
Every ministry gets their own. NTSA, transport. They get theirs. KWS, tourism. Yes. It's not as though it goes to the Office of Tourism. It goes to the account which is in the central bank. That's how it works. So this money, when it's withdrawn, it's not as though Treasury has an account within the building and a vault where there's money. When I say processes, I'm just explaining it. They know that the only way they could get that money out is if they claim there was an emergency. Now, what that article seems to be disputing is the nature of whatever activities was that qualifies to be an emergency.
Okay.
Flooding, emergency. Drought, emergency.
So it's like
fire, emergency.
So it's like me calling my friend CT and be like, hey, CT ni aje? Wow, niko hapa kwa hospitali. Mguu wangu imekatika. So nitumie 10,000.
That would be an emergency because it would be. Because when you left work, you had not planned to have an accident or have a problem.
But you see, in this case, what I'm trying to say is that I'm lying to you.
Yes.
It's Friday evening. I'm looking for some cash because I have a bill on the table of about 5,000 shillings. And I don't know how to pay for that bill.
It could be that can be an emergency.
Paying for the
that can be an emergency.
paying for alcohol is not an emergency.
It can be. You get carried away,
Yeah.
and you think you understood, but you had not looked at the prices of those things properly. Yes, you thought it.
Or I just got carried away. So some random hot chick, and I know for a fact that in my pocket I have 1,000. But now because I've seen this beautiful woman, I tell her, Keti bwana, wewe pewa kinyo unataka.
And then when the bill is like city.
City. Mguu yangu niko hapa hospitali. Hebu nitumie 10,000.
By the way, even if you said niko kwenye mkahawa, it's an emergency because huna pesa.
Or you'll send. Me tell me in the club, I'm not saying that money.
I will. It says it's an emergency. I'm not saying I'll send you 10,000, Bob. I'll probably send you 500, Bob. But
we need to understand what the government did with it, how they got this money. Perhaps if there was a loophole, let's get to understand.
No, that loophole, if it exists, it was created. Yes.
So that is the standard. Daily Nation hapa mbele wanasema who failed them. This is the first anniversary. Director of Public Prosecutions recommends public inquest into tragedy. Which tragedy are we talking about? For the parents, time has stood still. Every memory of Hillside and Darasha Academy bound into the horror and screams that filled the air on the fateful night of September 5th, 2024. A year later, authorities have no answers for how the school fire that killed their 21 children happened and why no one has been held to account. Story on page 4 and 5. That was quite a story last year. Sad indeed. West Pokot Nurse wins Global Award. That story is on page 3. Gangs backed by powerful figures invade 400 acres in Kakuzi. And shock of 1,000 public schools with less than 10 learners each. Yeah? Shock of 1,000 public schools with less than 10 learners each. Umesikia your story?
Yes.
What's on your end of the papers?
Let me leave the rags for the moment. Let me look at the Business Daily.
Umeona Samido ukasema acha kwanza Samido wakae kando kidogo.
Well, there's a story here about musician Samido faces rape allegations. Apparently there's a woman who is alleging that he raped her when he was in the States. Okay?
Yeah.
And it is said she has recordings of the conversation they had.
She recorded the rape.
No, she
through
recorded
conversations.
the conversation that led to the rape and her resistance.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm sure if the evidence is there, then he has a case to answer.
My friend, let me tell you, this thing was at some point in time a very big issue in some of the campuses in the US. So they had to document what needs to be said to constitute
rape.
Refusal. No, refusal, because rape occurs when you perpetrate something that someone has not agreed to.
Yes.
That's why it is rape.
When there is no consensual.
Yes. So what is it that demonstrate that you did not consent?
Okay.
Did you say no once? No. Twice? No. That sort of thing. Now, this lady saying she had a recording, but reporting it to the police in the US, nothing is happening.
But let me ask you something.
Ask me.
Do I have to say no for you to know that it's not consensual?
It's important for you to verbalize it.
Okay.
How does the person know?
Because if you tell this lady, let's go to my place, and then she says, I want to go home. She hasn't said no, but clearly she doesn't want to go to your place.
No.
Let's go to my car. I prefer my car.
Yeah.
So she has not said no, but she doesn't want to go in your car.
Yeah.
Yeah?
The fact that there's a demonstration that she doesn't want to go to either your house or enter your dingy car, that's a refusal.
When you try and touch her, any part of her body, and she asks, what are you doing? She has not really said no, but she has not consented to the touching. But you see, now that's the thing. Sasa unajua lazima tuelewane juu ninaweza kuwa nimefanya kitu yenye hukutaka lakini sikujua hutaki.
What do you mean? She has already told you she doesn't want, or she has resisted. I mean, does she need to have a placard in your face for you to understand and that's what she's saying? And
that's why I said, when you mesema, like in the States, there needs to be like hakuna reasonable doubt that huyu mtu alikuwa anakataa kitu.
That's why they had to document is that you know.
Okay.
Yes. My friend, it's complicated. Well, anyway.
Business Daily.
If Kenya is to build a credible sugar industry, it must prioritize safety, transparency, and true local value creation. This is a quote from Jaindi Kisero's article, which is on page 9. How Johnny Walker, Kenya Cane, earned EABL 5.2 billion profit. Okay? East African Breweries Limited Spirit Selling Unit recorded a 5.2 billion after tax for the year ended June 2025 on the back of Johnny Walker and Kenya cane sales. Right. Accidents, car theft, insurance payouts hit record 44 billion. Motor cover is industry's biggest loss-making business. Rising bills and fraud claims signal higher premiums. Okay? Yes, that is the headline.
All right.
Geneva, New York, Dubai stop state globetrotters bucket list. Geneva, New York, and Dubai led among favorite cities for top state officials who splashed 2.9 billion on foreign trips funded by taxpayers, reflecting the tough task of clamping down on non-essential travel. There is nothing like a tough. The people who are breaking the rules, the ones who are supposed to enforce them. So what do you think?
Yeah, I'm just looking at your face, and the frustration is very evident.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reading. It is annoying because these are the people who are tasked with the duty of ensuring that there's compliance with this. That they're the ones who are breaking them. So what are you supposed to do?
I know. Good question.
The bureaucrats splashed 147 million on trips to Geneva, Switzerland, 80.7 million traveling to New York, US, and 56 million on Dubai trips in the year of June, shows a report by the Controller of Budget. I told you, these things are documented. The Controller of Budget,
Sifala.
Auditor General, they look at what exists. It is you who made the request. It is you who stated what the funds were for. It's on record.
I have a feeling the COB and the Auditor General have like a WhatsApp group where it's just them having conversations and just laughing at how they're just about to expose the nonsense happening in this country.
It's their job, actually.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying. They're usually like, hey, Katanuka.
You see, part of the problem that has also been reported is that the people who perpetrate these ills don't care.
Right.
Housing levy collections hits 73.2 billion, surpass target. Okay? Use of cash has lagged due to phased nature of projects which take time to plan and implement. Let me just read this.
Yes.
Collections from the State Housing Development Levy surged past expectations in the year ended June 2025. Bless you. Reflecting stronger compliance and enforcement of the monthly charge on pay slips that has stirred legal, political, and economic debate. Fresh data shows the Kenya Revenue Authority collected 73.2 billion in housing levy receipts for the year 2024-25, outpacing the 63.2 billion set by the Treasury. Let me look at the Star. Ruto reduces varsity fees to a 25-year low. This is stood on page 4 and 5. In the Siasa pages, is impeachment tool for manipulation and blackmail in politics? It most certainly appears so. Audit, sad tale for Kenya Meat Commission, from 180 million surplus to a 365, it's like 1 million for every day, million loss. Okay? Right. Yesterday, the president opened Mombasa ASK show. Okay? Yes, and one sees him there sitting with leaders at the coast and plus the PS agriculture.
Okay.
Yes. Police should man treatment facilities during demos. IPOA. IG urged to break pattern of officers not cooperating with protest notifications. All right.
Ati, come again?
IG urged to break pattern of officers not cooperating with protest notification. Meaning they protest. The police assume those guys were talking to themselves. Yes. So...
Okay, I'm sorry for laughing, but it's the way you've put it.
Ruto buys 1 million bull at ASK show. Kingi starts contest with 300k offer before president pushed it to 400k. There's a picture of the bull. Majestic looking animal here.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, it is good.
It's worth 1 million.
According to this article, it is.
Okay. But you know Ruto is a farmer, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me just talk about the university school fees reduction. This is important.
Yes.
The old fees for school of education, that's more university, old fees was 33,750.
That's tuition fee.
New fees 8,000. Criminology at Maseno was 30,000 shillings. These are just, for example.
Okay.
Now new fees 14,000.
From come again, criminology, how much?
It was 30,000.
Now 14.
Karibu half. Data science 46,000 previously, new 17,500. Journalism, 46,500, now 17,338. Okay? Students are now paying 5,000 per semester. No, this is confusing.
5,000 for what?
No, this is confusing. A majority of students are now paying 28,000 shillings per semester. I understand the reduction of fees, but there is also the reality of what it costs to train people and whether the fees and the number of students will be commensurate with what is required. The reduction, I understand. Yes.
So you're asking about whether students will enroll in large numbers?
Whether this fee structure is a representative of what the monies that are needed for the education to be the quality education to be provided. That's what I'm asking.
Okay. Perhaps they're looking at, I'm sure there's some form of government subsidy somewhere there. Perhaps there is, I don't know.
You see, the question I'm asking here is this. I am certain this process was well thought out. Actuaries came in, did their maths.
Wakasema twende hivi.
Twende hivi, hii tunaweza, hii hatuwezi, hii and so forth. Right? So, the proof of this pudding is in the eating. Let's wait and see when it's implemented and see how it works.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to strain my head. I'll just wait for it to be implemented. And once the hue and cry begins, I'll begin to...
Once the cry begins.
It will begin.
But perhaps one of these fine days we need to sit with a Don. Specifically one who's in charge.
No, we will bring somebody.
Yeah, like a vice chancellor or a DVC.
He's in charge of this.
Who?
There are people who understand this.
Okay.
We will bring them here.
Yeah.
And then, if not next week, the week after, let this thing settle and they can come and explain to us in details.
Yeah.
That's why you find I'm not straining my head over this. There are people who understand this thing.
Yes.
And we'll bring them to share the knowledge they have.
All right, so we're getting into the news right now with Winnie Maganga. But before we do that, a few shout-outs. There's a very good friend of mine. He's a huge fan of the People's Breakfast. He's known as Ahmed Mohammed. He has said, movie amevaa Sunday best na ni Friday. Ini Sunday best. You guys should see me how I dress on Fridays, on Sundays rather. Ndio mtajua hii si Sunday best. And then salamu zingine zimfikie. Who is this? Douglas Kibogong amesema, sometimes I ask if Treasury has money and fails to pay. Well, good question, Douglas. Perhaps one of these fine days when we have the CS here, perhaps you shall get to have those particular answers. Right now though, like I said, here is the news with Madam Winnie.
It's 7 o'clock.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. Health officials in the Democratic Republic of Congo have declared an Ebola outbreak in Kasai province. So far, 28 suspected cases and 15 deaths, including 4 health workers, have been reported. The outbreak has hit Bulape and Mweka health zones. Tests carried out in Kinshasa confirmed that Ebola Zaire strain as the cause. DRC's last outbreak of Ebola virus disease affected the northwestern Equator province in April 2022. Police have launched a security operation in Nairobi's CBD following rising cases of muggings. Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen, speaking in Bungoma during the Jukwaa la Usalama meeting, said plans are underway to reshuffle officers and seal security gaps.
Things like theft, muggings, that is a daily responsibility of the police officers within the area. Operations going on those issues in that area. As I told you, Trans Nzoia, even here, some of those complaints are here about small theft and mugging, and we are going to do something to make sure that is addressed.
Meanwhile, at least 80 suspects were arrested in an operation targeting a new crop of muggers who have invaded parts of Nairobi city center. Police said the suspects were arrested over the week in the exercise and vowed it will continue for days to get rid of new gangs. Nairobi Central Sub-County Police Commander Philemon Nyakombo confirmed the arrests.
And I've arrested so many who have been arraigned before court. Cases are unique and we act upon them but as individual cases, not collectively, not as reported on social media, where the only common ground is around archives, Galitos, and Kimathi Street. The rest of it, there is no story there.
President William Ruto has called for the immediate absorption of more than 7,500 universal health coverage workers into permanent and pensionable terms. The president urged the two levels of government to end an ongoing impasse and expedite the process of hiring the UHC staff. President Ruto made the announcement on Thursday in Mombasa, where he also issued employment letters to some of the workers.
Nachukua pia nafasi hii kutangaza ya kwamba tumekuwa na wafanyikazi wa afya wa sekta yetu ya afya, wale ambao walitusaidia wakati wa COVID, si ndio? Wako kiwango inaitwa nini mheshimiwa? Si ndio? Wale wa UHC wafanyikazi zaidi ya 7,500. Hawa wafanyikazi wamehangaika kiasi, lakini mimi nimetangaza ya kwamba sasa hawa wafanyikazi tunataka kuwatoa katika utendakazi wa kandarasi, tuwafanye permanent and pensionable.
National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah is mourning the death of his father, Isaac Ichung'wah Ngugi. Ngugi passed away on Thursday morning at the family's Kikuyu home. Ngugi, aged 105 years, is reported to have died peacefully in his sleep. In a notice to MPs, the office of the Speaker of National Assembly described the passing as a great loss and extended condolences to the family of the Kikuyu MP. The government has ordered residents of Loyangalani sub-county in Marsabit County in possession of illegal firearms to surrender them within 2 weeks. Marsabit County Commissioner James Kamau also called on the residents to rally behind the government by supporting its development programs for accelerated growth. He cautioned that a forceful retrieval of illegal guns will be conducted if the deadline is not honored. Kamau was speaking at Sarima village after a series of joint security and peace meetings for Loyangalani and neighboring Samburu North. And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast, curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor!
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
Yes, indeed. How are you doing? It is now 5 minutes past 7 o'clock, and it's that time for us to have our very interesting morning conversation. And today, by day, it's very different, not the one that you're used to about politics and about, business. Today, we want to take a different tangent because it's a Friday, and there's some things that gentlemen and ladies need to talk about. So, in studio this particular morning, we do have Mary Mukindia, and I hope I'm saying this correctly. She will correct me, who is the executive coach and speaker, certified Geno's emotional intelligence and intelligence practitioner rather. Welcome to the show, Mary. Did I say your name correctly? Is it Mukindia?
You did. In Kimeru, where my children are from. I'm
Yes.
not. I'm from the other side of the mountain. There are two eastern and western, so I say I'm the true Mount Kenya mafia.
Yes.
It's Ento Mukindia.
Mukindia.
Yes, but Mukindia is so much easier for everybody.
All right.
Yes.
You know, I have very many Meru friends, and every time I'm around them, I am tempted to speak in their accent.
I know it's beautiful.
Najipatanga tu, yani imetoka tu natural. Nashinda hata kuizuia kidogo, lakini for this sake, let's be professional.
They are very distinct, and it's a pride. I know.
Yes. Well, welcome to Radio Generation. I see you and City are very good friends. City said that he has known you for a very long time.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes.
City seems to know everyone.
I know. That's the magic of City.
Yeah, every time I host someone here, I'm thinking, wow, I'm meeting this person. City, I'm like, how?
I told him.
Yeah.
It is not as difficult as he thinks.
Yes.
He just needs to get old.
So once I get to be a fossil like you, I'll get to meet all these people.
Once you become prehistoric like me.
I will not answer to that because I'm in the same group and I refuse.
No, you don't qualify. You went to secondary school and you're 6 years old. So
I love it.
Wow. All right. So Mary, maybe we can just let people know what an executive coach and speaker is, or who an executive coach is.
Yes, I'm actually many things, and people say I'm always re-engineering myself, and I tell them, yes, life is so huge. We are so talented. We're made in the creation of whoever we think is the creator of the world, and therefore I started out as a petroleum expert. People knew me for oil and gas.
Yeah.
And then I went from being the poacher to from poacher to being the guardsman working for UN, also in oil, but now in conservation.
From poacher to warden.
And when I left, I think I was in my 50s, I was like, what's there for life for me? And I thought, let me be a coach. I'll just do something very quickly. After all, I've worked in corporate over 35 years. But I discovered it's actually a profession.
Yeah.
You get certified. There's an international coaching federation and others in the UK, like the AOC, Association of Executive Coaches. So I went through a program. It's not difficult. It's about 3-4 months. You get coach, you get certification. You have an ethics code you follow. And we find that many people, particularly senior executives, people like yourselves, need a safe space where they really just focusing on me. What do I want? What are my goals? What challenges am I going through? I want somebody to walk with me, to help me think it through. We don't tell you what to do. We believe inherently as coaches that everybody knows what they want inside. Your job as a coach is to bring it out. So we use the power of questions, powerful questions, active listening to actually bring clarity to your mind on what you want to do. And just having that safe space, whether you're seeing a coach for a month, 6 months, maximum is a year, because it's always a result that you want. It's very result oriented. So that's what I do. I'm an ICF professional coach and I love it. I also am called to speak a lot, again, because of those years City and I are not talking about. People say I think I've been working now over 40 plus years.
Wow.
So I seem to have some wisdom. I've had a lot of diversity where I've worked, where I've been. So people say, come and tell us your leadership journey, or come and talk to us about emotional intelligence, because I'm not certified as an emotional intelligence practitioner. I'm also certified in the 5 behaviors of effective teams. How do you build a high-performing team? And that's something I did under a company called Wiley, run by Professionals International here. So I'm a kind of a jack of all trades, more of a generalist leader, and I love it. I love speaking to people.
Right.
The mistakes I did when I was young coming up, please don't do them.
Now that's the experience you bring to the table.
Absolutely.
Thank you
and
for
I'm
that.
glad they still want to hear from me.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
So today we want to talk about boundaries and why we struggle with them and why they matter in our African context. In Africa, do we have issues with boundaries? And we're not talking about the IEBC kind of boundaries, obviously. Do we have these personal boundaries problems in Africa? Because I feel like boundaries were a concept that was brought by the West when we were colonized, and when the missionaries brought the Bible to us and so on and so forth. They told us we need to have this personal bond, because in Africa I feel like we tulikuanga tu sawa. We're a large community. We like enjoying ourselves in the way we do. We intermarry, we have multiple wives. But now the West will introduce to boundaries.
In fact, when you talk about multiple wives,
yes,
it wouldn't exist if it didn't have boundaries.
Okay.
Exactly.
That institution functions because of boundaries, and it breaks up when those boundaries are not adhered to.
And hand in the air, I'm also one, when you're talking about multiple wives.
Yeah. So, polygamy. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yes.
Yeah. So I think, these things, I think there's nothing new under the sun.
Yes.
Sometimes a white man takes an aspect that we know, or even the yellow man, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Something we know is common sense. They put it under a framework and they give it a very nice name. And then we think it's a new thing. It's not a new thing. Boundaries were always there. And I think the easiest definition I can say about boundaries delineate where I end and you start. So that what is me now, me here? What's my personal space? You know how you're in a queue somewhere? I was about to say post office or the bank, but there are not many queues there. Maybe queuing for matatus. You know how people come stand close to you, they almost breathing down your neck.
You can actually smell their breath.
You can smell their breath, or you're on a computer sitting and somebody leans their hand and they're sweaty and it's smelling, trying to show you something on your computer. That closeness as human beings is what we call personal space. And it's a couple of meters. And then there's group space. And then when you're addressing a crowd, you tend quite a distance away. All that is about me, my space, and where you end. And it's on everything. It can be physical. It can be financial. My money, I earn it. Why do you feel entitled to my money?
There we have a boundary now.
There is a boundary. My money is for me and my children, not every funeral in the district,
village.
In the village, you're entitled. And people get very annoyed, like relatives. When you're not contributing to so and so, son is going abroad.
Yeah.
There's emotional boundaries, protecting your feelings and not being forced to feel a certain way or to carry people's problems. I'm entitled to my feeling, even if you don't think it's right. I'm entitled to my feelings. Then there's sexual boundaries, which you were talking about, which I love. You know, I have a right of how to be touched or not to be touched. There's also, you know, things whether to use contraception or not. You know, there's those boundaries. There's intellectual boundaries. What do I believe? I have a right to believe that. There's informational boundaries.
Even if we find it silly.
Yeah. It's mine.
I think that's a dangerous boundary.
Why?
Samido, if you believe they are unicorns, and we know for a fact they don't exist.
Unicorns in what context?
Like, forget the unicorns in Estonia. Unicorns.
Forget the business.
The
terminology for
the mythical animal.
The mythical
the
creature.
mythical horse with the horn.
Exactly. Now,
like a big foot. But there are people who believe it does. You know, that's your personal belief. I cannot deny you your belief. I say, I hear that you believe that.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But I don't personally happen to believe in it. But I can give you the right to believe in it.
For example, flat earth theory.
Yeah. Okay.
You see, now that one, it now becomes a dangerous.
Yes.
And when I say dangerous, I literally mean it's a dangerous belief.
Science-backed.
Exactly, because there are facts. People who don't believe even there's global warming, for example, yet there are facts. Now, hapo kidogo kuna shida.
Are you aware that in the times when Christianity was a government on its own, okay?
True.
When the Pope had an army.
And he had a
Still
state.
has, still
It
has
was a
one.
state. The papal state. It was a state. Okay? Did you know that the church believed the earth was flat?
Oh, yes.
And people like Galileo, who said this thing actually is spherical. That was heresy.
Yeah.
And you know heresy?
Punishable by death.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So, and there's a reason why they believe that. Okay? Now, the intensity of your belief does not alter the facts, by the way.
Yes.
No, exactly.
But most people believe that you measure belief and the authenticity of it by the intensity. Like, I don't believe. Is that supposed to be a big thing? Fine, you don't believe. Even if you do not believe that there is an energy that ensures that if you go to the top of a building and you walk off the ledge, you will hurtle down, and if it's high enough, there's a strong likelihood you will go to meet your maker. Okay? Now, if you believe that is not true, that's all right.
That's all right.
Yes, walk up that ledge and see whether that belief of yours will help you.
Yeah.
Now, many people in this day and age, where we have all manner of freedoms, take that freedom to mean that you can believe what you like. Actually, you can. The problem comes in when you want to impose that belief of yours on others.
Exactly.
And you want to insist that they must look at the world the way you do.
Hence
That-
the boundaries now.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Because as I said, boundaries delineate where I end and you begin, emotionally, physically, financially, and spiritually. And the reason we have them is so that we can not exhaust ourselves. You see, you can get exhausted, your money can be used. They matter because they are part of being able to live well, be well, you know, and it's not, if you believe that that's okay, you're allowed to, but how then do I coexist with everybody? Because you have people who stomp on boundaries.
Yeah.
You know, like this office, you have boundaries where the cleaner can go or not go. It is this time, it is recording time. Somebody can't come in.
Yeah.
So you have a boundary. There's workplace behavior. What's a respectful behavior? People don't hug and touch and whatever because it's an office. And that's why there's a code of conduct. It's establishing boundaries so that everybody knows what to expect and then perform at their best. So it's not so much based on beliefs unless, let's say, it's spiritual boundaries. I respect that you have a religion and you believe there is a God. There are people who do not. And you should respect my boundary to believe that there is a God. I remember when I was working in the UN, we had somebody, our head of department, used to be quite negative about me and another lady, Jane, who had our own beliefs. And you say, oh, you're the people who believe in da-da-da-da-da. That's disrespectful. Because it's causing me some anguish in that he doesn't agree. Or when people, you just say, those people are Muslims, why are you praying 5 times a day, facing whatever, and you laugh about it. So it's actually respecting that there's your space and my space, and for you to exist in a physically safe world, to have self-respect for yourself and others, to have good relationships, and to be able to improve society, we need boundaries.
Yeah.
Just like a country has boundaries, you have boundaries.
Let me ask this question, Mary. What then is a healthy understanding of just the freedoms that are afforded to us? Because it's in the name of freedoms that people cross boundaries and get in other people's faces, and in the process cause offense.
Because as well as respecting and having boundaries, there's also responsibility to the society. Because freedom doesn't come on its own. I want freedom, but I also have a responsibility that I ought to do and to adhere. So it's not all beautiful freedom, these are my boundaries, but I also have a responsibility to respect others people's boundaries. So it's yin and yang, positive and negative.
It's supposed to be reciprocal.
They have to be reciprocal. So I'm contained in some way in my freedom because I'm also responsible for good peace, well-being of everybody else so that we all get along.
There is a problem here, though. If you look at the patriarchal system that is symptomatic of us as Africans, there was an understanding, or at least we're made to believe there was an understanding, that the patriarch was the begin and end all of everything. Wakusema, as we say in Kiswahili, okay? And that whatever they said could not be abrogated, one could not go against it. I'm talking about ancient times. But those times actually with us, especially when you look at people who are sent to positions of leadership, you see this monster of a certain idea manifesting that because they have said, one, it cannot be questioned. It's like there can't be an alternative view to the one that they've expressed, no matter how lopsided that particular view is. And the problem with that is it sets an example. So by virtue of somebody who is in a position of authority, everybody else who is under that authority and has whatever semblance of authority in whatever department, they then will want to exercise the same fiat.
Do you know, I agree and disagree in somewhat, and I think we corrupted what we understood to be African society and meshed a bit of African society with some modernism and Westernism. I truly believe, reading and hearing from before and seeing the stories and even things like Wango Wamakeri, there was a play, a friend of mine went to it and was saying it was so amazing, really understanding the real story behind it and who she was, as a leader, and this myth of sitting on something. It was one drunk man who came to the village and she had to make an example, is that even in that patriarchal, the olden times, there were boundaries and systems. Women did this, young men did this, children did this. These were the responsibilities of older people. Even those elders, there were women in them. So in a sense, and then with elders, they would counsel and talk together. But when we moved to that and quickly adapted a Western style, the authoritarian Roman kind of autocratic leadership style, we lost that communal living and consensus living that was part of, I think, our African society. So we are kind of in this area where we take pieces of what we need and say, is patriarchal, I say everything that runs. If you look at old men from those old times, they didn't make decisions alone.
Yeah.
They will call each other. You call the elders, Mkuliendaje? Tuambie, ita mzee nani hii kazi hii maneno tuite nani from that
and we see that actually even in our own cultures right now, going for the rorashos, the kwaitos, ngasia, or whatever it is that you have.
Exactly. There's
something
for
the na wana agree this is a bride price. This is how we're going to handle this situation.
And the women have a point in it. Na kina mama wanataka nini, akina nani. There's a lot of communal agreement and decision, and there's somebody who's a spokesman who's not straight into the family, but he's an outsider, but he's respected. But this, I don't know where we ended up with this Roman kind of autocratic leader who decides and knows all. It must be a very huge burden to be the expert of everything and knowledge of
Actually, no. If you understand the burden that comes with leadership and that is responsibility, you will not be autocratic.
Exactly. Yes, because it's about vision, it's about aligning people, it's about inspiring performance. Most people think it's a doing. That's managerial.
No.
That's not leadership.
But actually, I agree with what she said. It's a burden, because if you do not understand that aspect of this is not when utakula stress peke yako. That is why you see leaders either committing suicide or doing things that are just bizarre, like
and working until 10 o'clock, busy doing the worksheets. That's not your job.
Let me ask you, how many leaders in this continent, in our neck of the woods, do you hear of committing suicide?
I'm not when I say committing suicide, I also mean working yourself to death.
Exactly.
Or working yourself
to a heart attack,
to a point whereby you actually become an enemy of the people that you're actually trying to improve their lives.
You know, what kills those people is not hard work. On this continent,
it's just umeka pale sana.
Some excessive behavior will kill you.
Yeah, if you want to rule every county, every province, you want to know what's going on. Micromanaging. That's not your. That's a managerial task.
Yeah.
You've limited yourself to managerial technical, but you don't want to delegate.
There's something I started off by saying that in Africa we have been for a very long time. Even when what we read in history, we've been people who are very communal. For instance. The way we go for Christmas and Easter, you know, we go to shags, tunachinja mbuzi, chicken, whatever. We eat, we enjoy. Wakati wa harusi, we come together, we contribute for each other. Nowadays, I see people actually wameacha ku contribute kwa maharusi because wanasema, wewe ndio uliamua kuoa.
Yes.
Wanna look for your money, marry your wife.
True.
Call it quits, usitusumbue.
Yes.
So nowadays WhatsApp group hata za harusi ni kama zimeanza kudidimia. Funerals will contribute because at the end of the day it was an unforeseen situation, and we understand.
Though there's death insurance.
Yeah. Then now you see, now we bring up this concept of kwani huko umeingia kwa welfare group, kwani huko umechukua insurance, kwani why are you asking us to contribute to a hospital bill and so on and so forth. I feel like these are concepts that were introduced to us Africans. We didn't have that.
We didn't have it, but we didn't have the cost of today, and there was a kind of a basket, a safety net that we all contributed into and understood it. Kikuyus used to throw away bodies they didn't bother to bury.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They threw to the hyenas. Kikuyus had no burial rituals. In fact, when you're very, very ill, you're thrown out and they bring food to you and keep checking whether umekufa.
Don't forget the string that is tied.
The string, yes.
Yeah, so that so long as you're tagging the string, they know you're alive.
They know you're alive.
Yeah. And marriages were families to come together, clans, everybody to come together because they go fetching wood together, they, firewood, they go, tilling land. So you wanted a strong bride who can come and be part of all that. So everything was communal, and then you could understand why that matters. But we've gone very individualistic because we moved to the cities. We all live in our own house and our own individualness. So by nature of the world changing, we have to change that. But what happened is some people then took it too far. They want the communalism, but on you. You're the one who's had the job in the city. So as uko nyuma, and everybody has a responsibility to bring themselves up. So the question would be, how much of my responsibility is still tied to the community, and in what ways?
Yeah.
Schooling, helping build schools, helping build water projects, helping create chamas, that, but now being part of your budget to help you educate your children, to bury you, then what is your responsibility? We need to say, I don't marry or have 10 children, I should have 2.
Yeah.
Because I can only afford 2. So we have to move with the times. But I hadn't finished talking about the type of boundaries. I have about 10. So I'd say physical, emotional, time.
Intellectual,
Time,
yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
time
Time.
is also, work-life balance, or sexual, ethical, the limit of what I will not do for somebody else against my wishes. I don't believe it's nice to forge the accounts. So you're telling me, sign here, my ethical boundaries will not allow me to lie for you. Tell him I'm not home. Baba, you call the landlord has come. My boundaries, I don't lie. So I will not lie for you.
Yes.
Or just say I was not in
So
your
if my
laughing
landlord
city.
comes and finds you, utamwambia acha nimwite ako hapa.
No. Yeah, but there's some things of real ethicalness, particularly in offices or to do with money, so that you can say, no, I'm sorry, I don't do that kind of thing.
Haven't you heard of the jokes where a child who has been taught to be honest and is told by the parent, tell them I'm not here. Daddy amesema hayuko.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So doing that, then there's information, there's financial we talked about. People feeling entitled to your money, informational privacy issues, hata hujapata mtu unapata ulikuwa mgonjwa wapi, ulifanya operation ilikuwa wapi, na sasa when are you having a baby, now you getting married. I mean, really, there's a privacy, or where were you operated.
Yeah.
Cities laughing. Then there's spiritual values, which I talked about. Then there's workplace, where there's a role clarity. Everybody should know their role, and also the load. There's sometimes boundaries about, this is my load, please do not push, because I'm very good at presentations, usinitupie kazi ya so and so at mi nifanye.
Yeah.
So, and work-life balance is where your boss can call you at 10. Oh, I saw you online, can we have a meeting at 10?
Yeah.
Or do this task. So those are all parts of the boundaries, and sometimes we don't think about, all, and there are probably more, obviously. Yeah.
Let's go back to one of the boundaries you mentioned there. What is it, the sexual boundary? Yeah. That has been a lot of people don't know or understand where this boundary begins and ends. Yeah. Perhaps we can, like right now, there's a headline on one of the papers. I think it is the Nairobian. Samido apparently was caught up in an issue.
In the US.
In the US, in the United States, yes. That is something that a lot of Kenyans have found themselves in. And
I have to laugh.
So where does that boundary begin and where does it end?
I'm glad I do not know that.
You see, when you hear of boundaries that have been abrogated, it speaks to, one, that person's relationship with other people's feelings and emotions and other people's positions in their lives. Okay? And if it's a man, it speaks very loudly of how that man relates to women.
Okay.
Okay? Many African men do not take the things that women say seriously. There are communities where women and children are lumped in one group as people who shouldn't be listened to too much. Okay?
Yeah.
It is a communal thing. And even in this 21st century, there are people who still, when you talk to them, you actually surprised and ask, hey, Chief, is that how you actually think? And in reality, that's how they think. When you hear of a case of that nature, it means you are interacting with the actions of an individual who isn't sensitive or careful about other people's feelings and thinking.
Yeah.
So let me go further. And we've seen from other countries, I'm not sure about Kenya, probably. Do you believe that there's rape within marriage?
I was actually going to ask you about marital rape.
There is.
Yeah. So you see, the thing is, sexual boundaries is about your right for consent. They protect your right to consent. And how, if you've said yes, how would you want to be touched? You don't want back doors. Which I hear. I don't know. Not been that game for 100 years.
And on that hangs a tale. Because when you have a community like ours, where sex isn't discussed openly, then problems such as the one we read earlier on will arise.
Yes.
Because somebody does not state, they don't express.
Express how they want to be touched, when they want to be touched, by whom they want to be touched. So it's really sexual boundaries about my right for consent and how I want it, when I want it, where I want it. Some people have fun doing it in public or in an aeroplane or wherever. So those are the issues. If you respect me and I respect myself, because boundaries is also about self-respect. It's about emotional wellness. It's about respect from the other person, because I then set my expectations. Mary Hachezi, she's celibate for the last 17 years. That's it. So you set boundaries of how, and we have respect for people who set boundaries. people say no mi kwangu hukuji after this hour.
Yeah.
Au kwangu mi si donate kila kitu mnakuja hapa. So then people start to understand you. So you set expectations. So sexual boundaries is really about the right, how you give consent, and the other person to understand you and to respect you. But obviously in our context, as you're saying, my wife is mine, and that is also your filial duties. So they're also duties.
Yes.
And people have gone to court and say, you're not giving me my duty. We
conjugal
divorce.
rights.
Yeah, conjugal rights, which is true. So these are very delicate issues that then people go for therapy, discussion, and end up in a court because they're not easy to discuss. But so long as there is enough respect, you respect I need a conjugal duty to me. If you're not giving me pass to divorce, and then some countries even sue.
For damages.
Na
unalipa.
Emotional damages.
Let's talk about also in families, boundaries within, let's say like a blended family kind of situation, whereby I have married this woman. She has come with 2 kids from a previous marriage, and now I need to set boundaries for the ex-husband, how he will be, coming to my home to see his kids.
Absolutely.
Pick them, take them to wherever, then bring them back. Are those issues that you've also encountered?
Definitely. As a coach, there's so many issues I hear about, because people, coach, we have according to a code of ethics, I don't even say who my clients are, and people say, oh, Mary's my coach. I don't, unless somebody does. So we have a requirement, and we can be blacklisted and thrown out if somebody complains about confidentiality. So people do really talk a lot. I even know somebody who bought off their husband. They just said they're back to the beginning, because the husband didn't have a job, he started a business, he didn't do well, so they ended up having to buy him off, you see. And then how do we parent? So we have to agree those things. In the US, there's an app for co-parenting where we don't talk to each other, we hate each other's guts.
Hold on.
Did you say
there's an app?
There's an app.
The way there's WhatsApp,
yes,
there's Instagram.
Yes, there's an app where you define the rules and whatever. I've never gone into it, but I've seen it a lot. I've read about it on Reddit, on stories. There's an app, and I remember reading somebody who said, oh my God, it has helped us ease ourselves so much. So you're using third parties, where do we pick, where do we live? So we're communicating through the app. You don't even have to come to the front door and knock. And now you see why you have to have boundaries. But also, remember, even in laws, there's something called enmeshment. I didn't know this word until late last year or early this year, and I'll look for the ChatGPT definition because it's very interesting. Enmeshment is where a family is so enmeshed into one another that everything has to go through them, either the brother or the mother. Is so strong. You're married into that home. You can't even buy a plot. You can't even take a holiday. Everything has to go through this one person who's controlling the whole family. And I don't know if the readers can identify with that. Very strong mother-in-law or a father. I've known fathers in Kenya, those rich families.
Yeah. For the sake of someone who's hearing enmesh for the first time, according to the dictionary, Oxford Languages wanasema hivi, cause to become entangled in something, involve someone in a difficult situation from which it is hard to escape. Enmesh,
yes, absolutely. And when you look at families, what happens is that if you're married to that family, it becomes almost impossible to have your separate life as a new couple forming your own family life. Because if it's holidays, Mombasa, au tunaenda Nyeri kwa farm, mukinunua nyumba, father-in-law must know mnanunua wapi, ngapi, anakuja anaangalia. You cannot have your own complete life. In fact, ChatGPT told me, enmeshment is a psychological term describing a relationship dynamic where personal boundaries are blurred or absent. In a mesh relationship, often between family members, individuals become overly emotionally intertwined, making it difficult to maintain a clear sense of self, independence, or personal responsibility. And this can lead to overdependence, lack of autonomy, and difficulty making individual choices. I wonder how many men or women who are in this kind of families where honestly as a couple, even where you take children to school, what you do, there's a very strong power that controls things. And that happens.
There's an extremity to what you're saying. The need for the individual to be self-aware, and for their personality and who they are to be respected is important.
Yes.
However, there is a Western perspective of individualism that focuses on the nuclear family and excludes any other. Now that I do not agree with at all.
But do you know they're coming back to the African one? Many of them divorced, semi-divorced, they're getting friends with the ex-wife, what wives, they're having holidays together, they're coming back. Many of them.
You know why I say this? Is because remember the consultative nature that we had as communities, okay? Any community in this country that had proximity to the white people had a tendency of acquiring their habits as well. See, the white presented the African communal way of doing things as cloistered, claustrophobic, and limiting. It's a con. Because if you look at the royalties and their ruling families, my friend, those people know the relations to the 12th century.
Yeah.
And they are close.
And they keep their wealth because it goes only to the past. It's not divided.
Yes, they are very, very close with the so-called extended family. You know the Earl of so-and-so is so. They know all this. It is now the commoners who focused on this.
Individualism.
Yes. At the exclusion of the benefits that are derived. You see, when we talk about boundaries, and Mary, you are spot on when you said boundaries existed. To understand boundaries, in an African setting, you get to a certain age as a boy, you become a man, you have your own house. Already that's boundaries. No one just walks into that place.
Yes.
Even if you're 18 years old.
In fact, in your tradition, you cannot be married without having your hand.
It is not possible.
Yeah.
And you also can't marry if you don't have one.
Yeah.
So already the boundaries already exist. And even in the naming system, for instance, the community I come from, there was no Mrs. So-and-so. You were so-and-so, Filgona Atieno, okay?
It's such a typical name, Filgona. I love it.
Yes. The daughter of Otieno Kwach, okay? The only time, and then the wife of came last.
Last.
Now, the only time it changed in an African setting was when you had a child.
Yeah.
You then became Mama. So and so, Filgona, the mother of.
Yeah.
And then you are known as so and so's mother.
As a new status.
Yes.
And a very
an abiding
Mama
status.
Otis.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when you had more children, you may find that Mama so and so changes, because if there are around 5 or 6 children, there will be a child who's unique in the sense that everybody knows them.
They could be naughty. They could be anything.
Whatever it is, but that is the child with whom you will be known. Mama so and so, because that child is known.
Okay.
Now, but you retained your individuality. You are not Mrs. Anybody. You are still so and so. Who is the daughter of, now it's not the daughter, the mother of so and so, the daughter of so and so, last the wife of so and so. And partly when you shared names, they would also add who comes from such and such a place.
Yeah.
You see? Now, we had clarity when it came to boundaries.
A lot of clarity.
Sounds like Game of Thrones. First of their name.
Yes. And even now,
Yeah.
I really hope we haven't gone too much on the other side of that individualism, that small unit, father, mother, 2 children or whatever. Because as you say, it came to the communities who are keen to the white man. You can see what's happened to my group, the Kikuyus. You know, they really went the other way. You can't even remember what your traditions are. And those who are father have really kept a lot of these traditions, their clothes, the things they used to do.
Yes.
But that communalness, we still seek it. So let me give you an example of boundaries, which worked and still keeping that community. My mother is 91 and I hope she's listening or she'll see it later. I moved to Nyanyuki and they were watching it on YouTube, and there was a time she was very, very sick, like 8-9 years ago. She had almost 3 major operations. She had huge, horrible bed sores and needed to be turned every 2 hours. She had a proper nurse and there was a machine attached to her, pulling out, sucking out all this. She had 3 operations in a space of 6-7 months. And she came to live with me. She was here in Nairobi because she had to be looked after. She had a hospital bed. We made the whole room. A friend advised me, a man actually, told me, you're not, we've got to the age where now we're caring for our parents. I don't know if you come to that side movie.
Not yet.
Not yet. It is coming.
Yeah. I hope I'll be ready.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's a joy also. So she was living with me. We had a nurse. Then I had to bring in a caretaker, somebody to clean. So it's not my usual house staff who are cleaning and all that. So my mother, they are 13. And I have many cousins, and all her brothers and sisters. Everybody wants to visit, and other, because she's a matriarch. She's like she's the firstborn. So somebody advised me, hey Mary, you go broke and then your house, you'll never have peace. You'll not even rest, because she's have a wound specialist coming every day. I advise you have visiting hours like a hospital. And I advise people, and they say, my God, what a good idea. So I create.
It is a good idea.
Yes, honestly, it really worked. So I she had her own phone, and the nurse had a phone, and the helper had a phone. So I said visiting hours are 2 to 6, because I want to welcome people visiting her, cheering her up, talking. But I put a time. Why 2? So that, first of all, I don't give you lunch. So I'm not cooking throughout. I have no money to give 20 people lunch, cooking lunch. I mean, everybody will be cooking.
Yeah.
So I said 2 o'clock up to 6. 6, I don't have to give you supper. But also in the morning, she's able to sleep. She's able to be bathed.
And you can also rest.
I can also rest. Otherwise, the doorbell will be going, 2 people have come, 3 people. The whole day is a stream of visitors.
You will collapse from exhaustion.
You collapse, exhaustion. Then in her room, I put a trolley, I put a kettle, I bought coffee, tea, box of, biscuits, those big ones. Then she had a big, chair in her room, big sofa. Fine. Then just before we go to the bedrooms, there's an auntie area. So I put chairs there, and I bought a TV for her room. So when people come, direct to her room. If she's being changed, there's an auntie area outside. My sitting room is still mine. My visitors come, they are still mine. Please, let's not mix things, because I'll start to resent her. And all these relatives, when I want to drink wine and sit in the sitting room with my buddies and chat. So you see how we can still maintain our
boundaries,
but still have that love for having. And a lot of people came, they were wonderful. They still come to Nyanyuki, and I love it. But they'll always say, we want to come and visit.
But Mary, the point you make is something that you must emphasize. You know why? In an urban setting, the boundaries that you speak of have to be there.
Oh, has to.
Because as you're speaking, my mind went to my grandmother, my late mother. There was a gazebo. There is a gazebo in our home.
Yeah.
There are always 2 thermoses of tea. There's no time that you go there. Yes, there's no time. There's always tea, and there are always cups. When somebody comes, washes them. My grandmother had a pot which had githeri
always
permanently, and there was another pot with uji permanently. But you see, that's an agrarian society.
Yes.
All those things that people ate, she had there on the farm.
Exactly.
See? Exactly. An urban setting is completely different, because you're buying everything. There, it's a question of so and so, go and get that thing in that shamba over there, or go to the granary and get this and this. The granary is our store in the house, and you've bought them.
Yes.
You haven't removed them from the farm.
And they're expensive.
And there's lots of space. You're outside, there's a veranda, there's an area. Look at Nairobi, the way we live, flats. Where are we going to be staying?
It is.
And I also remember as a child, and that's one thing I've become very strict on, and I didn't realize it was a boundary. When I was young, I was born on a train, by the way. My father worked for the railways forever. Coming from your Kima, Uko. I was born in Machakos.
Wow.
So he was like, he went to Alliance very early, but he started then working for the railways. So he was the one who's doing well. So the relatives, everybody, finding jobs in the railways for people and friends. So I remember throughout we went to boarding school when I was in standard 2, but in the holidays, would find people coming to stay with us, coming to, to live, to stay 2-3 days, 1 week, always, and would have to share beds. And I resented it. Even today, I had to go and sleep with my sister, who you probably know. She's on the same floor downstairs. There's a radio station downstairs. On second floor, upstairs. She's here. I was surprised when I came in.
Okay.
What's it called? 3 Stones TV.
Oh, that's hers.
Rose Kimotho.
I know your sister.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, she's well known media guru.
Okay.
So would sleep, and sleeping on one bed, and you have to turn. She's older, though I'm bigger now. So when you're turning when she wants to turn. You know how that thing you turn, and then you turn, and she says, "Stop breathing."
On my neck.
On my neck. And how do you stop breathing? You'll die. And then you are hit with the gekokora. The whatever.
Elbow.
So I swore my children will never go through that. So I have a boundary about people telling me you're coming to visit, how long? And I'm very hospitable, but I will not ever let my children have to go and move your beds, go sleep with so and so, take out the blankets. Now you have whatever. Those are things to do with respecting, even when they're children, their space, and so that they feel self-respecting and they ownership.
You bring up some really very interesting concepts. You see, if you spend a little time growing up in the rural areas, I did as a child. You slept on a reed mat. Okay, it's not mattress. Forget that story.
I know the reed mat.
Yes. Now the reed mat was peculiar in that when you slept on it early in the morning, it had marks on your face.
I know exactly what you mean.
Okay. Now, the boys, there was a hut the boys slept in. So very many of you slept on that reed mat. And you had a blanket, not to cover yourself, to cover
all of you.
Yes, so 3 of you shared, okay? So now if you have somebody who is one of these restless sleepers who just kick around, you will not sleep because half the time they have kicked the blanket on one side, they moved. But there are lessons you learn.
Yeah.
When it came to eating, it was the same story.
Yeah, one pot, one dish.
It was
one plate.
The big ugali, and then you'd be given a small bowl with vegetables. Vegetables always plenty, and one piece of meat. Now, you needed to be very careful where you place your meat, because if you place it carefully, some of your smarter cousins, as they go to take the ugali, which is communal,
they will pick it plus the nyama.
The nyama is gone, and no. You cannot complain about the meat. Meat was a delicacy.
Yes.
And it was one piece. It was that this one where somebody has a whole plate of meat. The lessons one learns, you see, we want to insist on the values we learned because of our experience. And yet when you have children and when you live in this modern society, there are many people who probably grew up in town. They don't have those experiences.
No, they don't.
So that value system, they can hear you, but it's actually alien.
No, absolutely. Going to Geshagi, on those old days, it's completely alien for people to understand that. I remember many of us sleeping, probably, 20 people on the floor during a wedding, because all of us are sleeping in the sitting room. So those are true. And I think the idea is, I wonder what your listeners think about boundaries that are crossed all the time, and where are they most crossed? Is it at work? Is it financially?
Yeah.
Is it emotionally? And then what is it they're doing about it? And that's what would be very interesting, for people to really think, what boundaries do I need to create? Because that leads to clearly setting your expectations of others and setting what your needs are, and also then people respecting you, and it leads to better well-being, instead of saying, oh God, I have to go, I have to take so and so shopping, I have to take my friend to a wedding. That's a time boundary. Why do I have always to accompany you? I have my things I'm able to do. I should be able to say no. It's a full sentence. So it's actually realizing the subtle things that happen when people cross boundaries, and they kind of force you to, you're irritated. When you find yourself getting emotional, irritated, a bit annoying, I have to do this.
Yeah.
Just think about it. Why is it's leading to that? I feel maybe there's a boundary being closed because I want my own time. Why do I feel obligated?
People who have I'm tempted to say lots of boundaries. Actually, I will say that. People who have lots of boundaries sometimes find they become solitary individuals.
Why do they have those boundaries, do you think?
So, and let me just point, let me point out a few examples.
Put it.
So, for example, me time boundaries, to say, you don't have to call me for all your family events because, hey, I won't come. So let's say I'm that kind of person in this office. I will come, do my show, up until the time that I'm supposed to be here. When I'm done, I am done and I'm gone. Boss usinipigie simu, colleagues musinipigie simu, because look, I've gone to be with my family at home, right? So literally outside the office, I'm done with Akina City. You see? Also, for my family members, there are certain times you shouldn't call me because I'm again with my family. On the weekends, I don't have to come to your Rorashio. I don't have to come to your whatever. I don't have even to contribute to your Rorashio. So it will get to a point whereby people will have office parties, they won't call me, or office, get-togethers, whatever they decide to go on Fridays or Saturdays, they won't call me. My family will be like, usipigie Mbuvi. Mbuvi ni mtu wa kisirani, mara asikutolee pesa, mara usiingie kwa gari yake, ukiingia kwa gari yake lazima utoe viatu, usichafue gari, So it gets to a point whereby Movie is actually, it's just movie, wife, and kids.
May I differ?
Yes, please.
We don't live in isolation.
Yeah.
So we're only talking about boundaries here. And people know movie goes to, it doesn't go to ratios, but you go to funerals and you contribute for babies, but you not contribute for school fees. So people know what to expect of you. So you're creating what you can do and what you can't do.
Yes.
And people are very clear about that. And we kind of admire somebody who understands what he wants to do. But then there's another side of life, because we're only talking about one topic, is life is about relationships. If you want to influence people, you're a leader here.
Yeah.
And leadership is a social process. It's a process of social influence to achieve a certain goal. So you're in charge here. You want people to work together, have dynamic. You must have a relationship with them. So how do you create a relationship with people? Is being friendly, listening to them, being empathetic, being authentic. So that is still going on at the same time. There's, they're all, it's like we're living in many spheres at the same time. So you do create relationships with your family. You do create with your office people. They know Movies are a nice guy. You want lunch, you buy you lunch. If you have a real problem, he'll come and he'll listen to you. But he will not go to ABC, but he will do ABC. So they will still like you because you're somebody with a lot of clarity, other than the person who never says no, but can't do everything. So he lets people down and ends up not being authentic. Because the trouble is, because of not being able to say no, and people are trying to be nice, you can't do everything. So what happens? You miss some things and you say, so-and-so is so unreliable. They said they would come for my ratio. But you see, you had said yes to another funeral.
Yeah.
Then you had said, because you don't have boundaries. Your kids had said, Daddy, take me, have a school sports day. I will come. And the people who tend to suffer most for people who don't have clear boundaries and clear expectation, it's usually the people closest to them. Yeah. The families. So you say, my dad will never come for my prize giving day. Because you're busy trying to solve the world's problem and be nice to everybody. So I think a lot of things can happen in concurrence.
At the heart of this is your self-respect for yourself. That's what I'm calling self-respect. I'm overlaying this thing. You know why? When you look at the self-image that you have of yourself, and then the insecurities that come along with it, some of these boundaries are to protect yourself.
Yes.
You may not say it, but that's what you're doing. You've realized here, there are people who have difficulty saying no.
Yes.
For whatever reason. Now, when they say no, they feel like they've actually done something wrong. Now, the problem with human beings is when you feel that way, you'll want to now compensate.
Actually overcompensate.
Yes. Then the boundaries come in. Now, self-image is something that I thank the West for having brought it to our attention in the manner that they did.
Yeah.
But it is something that is core to our identity.
Yes, absolutely.
Now,
absolutely.
Most of us, if you grew up in an African setting, you didn't have a problem with it. Not really. And the reason is because you saw yourself in the light of how people related to you and how you related to them.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
The Westerners don't do that. You start with the singularity of yourself, and they present it as though that is complete. We are social creatures. You can't be complete by yourself.
Thank you. And in fact, then that leads me to the segue to say that boundaries are not walls. They're actually doors with locks.
Yeah.
Allowing love and community in while keeping misuse and overreach out. Honestly, that's how to summarize. You've said it so well, CT. They're not walls. They're just doors. It will be open when I'm able and I can do it, and you have a clear expectation, like you're saying, to do this, and then overreach, misuse. We know those people who are always misusing you.
There are people who have a leaning toward taking advantage of others. Okay?
Yes.
They are good at it. And they scheme to do that.
Of course.
Once they figured you out as being generous, that's it. Every little problem. And usually one finds them among relatives.
Yes.
There is always that relative who doesn't really want to work very hard, but they'd like things happen. So they're your friend because they feel you will provide or you will assist.
Actually, there are very many.
There are very many.
Oy.
And then they end up entitled. I know somebody who's got somebody over 50. They're providing, they're paying rent. And then the person becomes entitled. Watch out the day you don't give. You're the bad one. And it's your money you've been giving for so long and helping school fees.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Entitlement then
They
settles.
will actually call you
You're the bad one.
with a quarrel. You know, I asked you for help. Why have you not helped me? You think, oh, yes.
You got it, even the stance.
And there are those who borrow. Let's even use money as an example. They borrow money and they just don't pay back.
No, it's you who misunderstands it.
No, they're like,
It's giving.
It's you who has misunderstood.
so someone calls me, Mbuvi, nisukumie 5,000, I will sort you by, when is today? So Friday.
Friday.
They will
The
sort
5th.
me next Friday. So give me this money, 12th Friday, you'll have your money back. And you do the thing. So come 12th of, next week.
The following Friday.
They don't pay. Then you say, okay,
Bro,
times are
ile
hard.
something namna gani?
So you call them on Monday. Hey, Friday, ama ulisahau. They're like, Buddha, sasa 5,000 ni kitu ya kusumbua mtu.
Goodness.
Oh yeah. So we're talking about both friends and family.
Yes.
There are those who are like, sasa 5,000 surely Mbuvi ni kitu ya kunisumbua.
Let me ask you, Mbuvi, and you give him another 5,000 and another 2-3 months, he comes really crying.
Obviously not.
So
But
you're saying you don't, but most people do. If he's a good friend and you feel your heart being tagged.
Yeah.
So what happens is you who has not set a boundary.
and sometimes they even send like your mother or your uncle or your father. So your father calls you, ebu tumia CT 5,000. I'm like, lakini nilipatia CT 5,000 na hakurudisha last time. Sasa CT ni brother yako bana. Umsaidie. So unataka afanye nini?
Why don't you free yourself from all this?
Yes.
And determine that you don't lend people money.
Exactly.
You give.
Exactly.
And then you give what you can
So
afford.
now you're World Bank.
Yes.
No, you give what you can afford. You ask for 5. I can afford 500. That's what I'll give you. And I don't want it back.
Keep it.
Think of it as boundaries, as like, let's say international boundaries. Kenya, Somalia, Uganda.
Yeah.
Why do countries have boundaries? They want to keep their citizens safe. They want to not let bad elements come in, trafficking, drugs, terrorists and so on. Why? They want the citizens of that country to enjoy the benefits of Kenya and what we have, and a peaceful life, because Kenya is very peaceful.
Yes.
And if you want to come in, there's a way of coming in. Visa, how long, what, and it's 6 months, 1 year working permit. Why is that? Because they want Kenya to be safe for its citizens.
Okay.
It's the same with boundaries. You are the one in charge. You're your own border police. And you set the standards. Otherwise, if you have no border police and people can come in and you give them money, then you've not set that
They'll
standard
run
of
over
I
you.
do not lend.
From today, don't borrow me money. I hope you're listening to me.
You know that money is actually yours.
Yes.
And unless you agree to give it,
Yeah.
it won't leave your pocket.
Okay.
Thank you, City.
From today henceforth, musinitishe pesa. Mary, we're coming to the end of the show. How do people now who do not have boundaries, the yes kinds of people, how do they start creating those boundaries?
I think just think of what are the things that frustrate you most, whether it's physical, it's emotional, it's time boundaries, and start. Sometimes I ask people to really work out how many roles do I have: mother, child, friend, daughter. Which one takes a lot of your energy and time, and which are the priority roles that you will do?
Yeah.
Where does your time go? Study where your time goes. Which things give you joy, and what things don't give you joy, and just set maybe 3. I would say just maximum 3 boundaries I'm going to create. My time is mine between this time and that time. I'll spend it with my kids. Or my money, I will no longer lend. I'll give, and I'll give 3,000 a month only. Whoever comes first. So look at where is it most painful for you. Because your body tells you the things that irritate you. I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. And start standing up for yourself. Start saying, I want to spend this time or this money or this respect. Like in meetings.
Yes.
Where boundaries are where you should speak to me. Don't use disrespectful language.
All right.
If you use curse words, I'll leave the meeting. How people use S word, F word.
Yeah.
That is boundary.
Yes.
So find which ones irritate you. Just take 3 and say, I'm working on this. And you're on the road and read about it.
How do we get in touch with you?
I have a website, Mary Mukindia Coaching. And in fact, tonight at the Capital Club, If you go to my LinkedIn profile, you see we're having a networking, full circle networking session. Thank you so much for giving me that opportunity. I didn't say it's at the Capitol Club at 7 tonight. Buy tickets, come to the Capitol Club, meet me. Tomorrow I also have an AI workshop. I don't know why I'm an AI enthusiast at this age of plus 60s.
Oh, you have to be. You need to be.
Yes, and I just love AI. So I have executive workshops. So tomorrow from 9 until 9 in the morning, again at Capitol Club to 4. So if you're somebody who is senior executive or just young, but you want to have a space and say, okay, I don't know any of this AI. I teach 4 skills. You bring your computer. And again, check me out on LinkedIn. The posters are there. My name is Mukindia Coaching or my website. And you can just come and join the workshop. It's 18,750. For today's event, it's only 5,500 for a cocktail, Tanqueray, beautiful time.
Enjoy
Meet
yourself.
executives and have a real and bitings today at 7.
What is Tanqueray?
Tanqueray is a gin.
Siti nitakwambia. This is where we come to an end. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you, Mbuvi.
The Iron Lady is in the building. In case you're wondering who that is, don't go too far. We'll be right back.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. A post-mortem on the body of the late Faith Benzali, who died while on surgery table, has revealed that she died due to excessive use of anesthesia drugs, lack of enough oxygen in the brain. The autopsy also indicated excessive use of other medications before the surgery was done also led to her death. The 27-year-old Benzali died on Tuesday after undergoing a cesarean section at a hospital in Kangemi, Nairobi.
I've done the postmortem of the late Faith, and the cause of death is a lack of oxygen, what we call hypoxia, which happened in theater. And this could be a complication of the anesthetic which the patient was given in theater. So further analysis will be done in the government chemists.
Her family is demanding justice, calling out the hospital over negligence.
We suspected that the hospital could have acted with the, the hospitali ilifanya kwa kupuuza ama kwa kutofanya with a lot of, with a lot of expertise. I would say that ile masomo, ile kazi ambayo wamesomea.
Police have arrested 2 suspects in Lugari sub-county in connection with vandalism of railway infrastructure. The arrest followed a joint intelligence-led operation involving officers from Bungoma Railways, Kipkaren Railways Patrol Base and the Kenya Railways Corporation Security Unit. During the raid, police recovered 65 pandroll clips hidden inside a house. One of the suspects later implicated an accomplice accused of transporting the vandalized materials to an undisclosed dealer. A 15-year-old student from St. Albertina Kiongwani Girls High School in Makueni County has now returned to school after her suspension over possession of a chewing gum. The girl had been asked to bring enough chewing gums for all of the school's 580 students as punishment. Officials from the Ministry of Education met the school management and resolved the matter. Her mother, Virginia Mawewu, said the gum was accidentally left in the bag and that her daughter admitted to the oversight immediately.
The school has punished both the student and the parent because what fault has the parent done to demand for this high level of punishment in terms of monetary value. So we condemn it in the strongest terms as a commission.
Kenya's nominee for Consul General to Goma in DR Congo, Judy Kiaria, has defended her suitability after Kinshasa formally rejected her appointment. Kiaria said she will engage the DRC authorities to talk about their priorities so that they can understand that Kenyans are in support of their sovereignty. She acknowledged reports of initial opposition to the procedure of her nomination from Kinshasa, but assured members that she will rely on diplomatic channels to build rapport with DRC.
This is a very serious issue that deals with life and a geopolitical issue, as Honorable Caleb has mentioned. How will you maneuver the situation as it is at hand? Forget about the school for a moment. Let's focus on what you will do in Congo.
Having the agreement before the nomination is not mandatory, but it is supposed to be after this approval. That is where we are going to engage. And after this, if I'm given the opportunity, I shall fund my credentials and I shall also be clear about the intentions of our country to DRC. I shall also try to contact the local authority in DRC.
Harambee Stars coach Benny McCarthy admits Kenya has a huge task in the remaining matches of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers ahead of today's match against Gambia at Kasarani. Harambee Stars' hopes were compounded after Gabon were in the same group hammered Seychelles 4-0 to leapfrog the Ivory Coast at the summit. Kenya is currently fourth with 6 points, having won 1 game, drawn 3 times and lost 1. Here's coach Benny McCarthy.
FIFA might come up with something, one team gets disqualified and then you get that pass through into the playoffs, and then anything is possible there. So I think you don't want to take for granted. So you'll just try, for our sake, is to play every game like it is our last game.
And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio Generation. Radio Generation assumes no responsibility or liability for the interviewee's views. This is Radio Generation. In the beginning, there was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast, curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast, your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights, Radio Generation.
Yes, indeed. We are the home of hard truths and bold insights. It's 88.8 FM in Nairobi, Radio Generation. My name is Mongala Mbuvi, and I'm joined by CT. But most importantly, our guest today is the Iron Lady. I don't know if she calls herself the Iron Lady.
Or whether she even likes that term.
We'll find out in a short while. I am talking about the People's Liberation Party leader, Martha Karua. Mheshimiwa, welcome to Radio Generation. It's such an honor and a pleasure to have you here with us today.
My pleasure, and thank you for having me. And may I appreciate your very warm studio.
Yes.
You seem to know a thing or two about colors. Purple is the color of hope.
Is it?
And
now?
that is the color of the People's Liberation Party.
Oh.
So you
didn't know?
You have joined without joining.
Yeah.
Yes. Karibuni.
Yeah, and thank you so much for appreciating the studio. And like I said, it's an honor. I actually met you a while back. I'm certain you would. Najua urizi kumbuka. Ilikuanga kitambo sana tukachukua selfie. I have treasured that selfie to date because it says a lot about the kind of person that you are. And we'll talk about that, a part of that today and much more. We also want to understand your ambitions for this country because we know some of them, but I'm sure over time probably they have evolved to something bigger and better. Am I correct in that regard?
You're very correct. I'm dreaming of leading Kenya's transformation as the chief executive officer of this corporation called Kenya.
Yes.
So yes, I'm vying for presidency, and my desire is to see a transformed Kenya, to see an economy that works for everybody, not just a few.
Right.
We don't want to be told the economy is growing, but it's in the pockets of a few when the rest are suffering.
Right.
We want to see a business environment that favors small and big businesses alike. We want to see a tax regime that does not discriminate, giving foreign investors tax waivers, but oppressing the small local investor, who cumulatively is the greatest investor, killing them with the burden of taxes. A tax regime that dishonors the working class, making it impossible for a person who is working to be able to cater for their family. Taxes are not supposed to be a punishment. It should never be punitive. It's a contribution to the services that you get. So tax less, broaden the tax base, and most of all, use the money optimally. Stop the leakages, prioritize the needs of the citizen, and cut wasteful spending. Do not overburden the people. I would like to see a nation that gives quality, universal health care from cradle to grave to every Kenyan in public facilities. I would like to see a Kenya where education from nursery
to university
in public facilities is free. And those who ask where would the money come from, I keep reminding them, Cuba under blockade, health and education were free as they continue to be today. And that nation, reeling under the blockade, has had and still has the highest per capita of doctors in the world.
To a point where we're exporting them, importing them rather.
And the best health care. So it is possible. Kenya doesn't have a revenue problem. It's fiscal indiscipline, misapplying, outright theft, corruption, and name it. I would like to see a Kenya where we have food security, investing in agriculture, supporting our farmers to feed us. We have sufficient arable land and water to do that. I'd like to see a Kenya where, because the business environment is right and the tax regime is not punitive, we encourage and we support especially our SME sector, which has over 7.4 million units. A Kenya where the private sector, because of the business environment and the economic policies, grows and our youth get jobs, and those who are into innovation are supported. And I would like to see a secure Kenya where our rights are respected and our security is guaranteed. Not a Kenya where in broad daylight goons attack people going home in the CBD, or where the government raises goons as their partners to stop the exercise of civil liberties.
I'll start with that last point of goons, insecurity within our own borders. And it has been an issue that has been a thorn in the flesh of every single Kenyan. In your opinion, what we've never seen this before in any of the presidencies that we have experienced in this country. Perhaps you can, from with your eyes, where is the problem? Is it because we have the people who are supposed to be taking, who have this authority are not exercising it as they should, or they have literally negated their duties, or they have been infiltrated and they do not have control of the country as
I think this is a William Ruto and his rogue regime issue. It's deliberate. They are creating insecurity, realizing that people are not with them.
Deliberately?
In my view.
Okay.
It is deliberate. How on earth would you allow forces from Jubaland to occupy parts of Mandera, causing havoc and committing atrocities on the citizens and chasing them away, forcing them to leave their homes? How would you allow that to happen for over a week and keep quiet? How would you invite RSF, therefore Kenya directly meddling and becoming partisan in the war in the Sudan? How would you do that? How would you employ goons? This is a country where those in leadership, the William Ruto regime, are deliberately causing and creating insecurity and partnering with militias.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, how is it that Jubilant forces are occupying part of Mandera? Is it that they want it there to be insecurity and the residents to be unable to vote in Banissa? What is the problem? Is it telling us this is how even Nairobi is going to be, and that we shall not be able to even conduct our campaigns? We've seen sections of the police shooting at opposition leaders. It happened in Muranga the other day. We've seen goons attacking the motorcade of Rick J when he was returning home, when his supporters had gone for him, and the police are watching. So it's like goons have partnered with the regime.
CT and I were having that conversation in the morning, especially on the Jubaland issue, how the forces got to get in within our borders. And one thing that was mind-boggling in that conversation is how comes no one really is talking about this issue as they should. A few newspaper articles, yes, have actually spoken about it, but no one in Mandera who is of a significant voice, say teachers for example, are not raising their voices. The governor of the area, MPs, MCAs, like no one who is of leadership is actually saying something of significance.
After Rick G mentioned it in his televised interview last week, the governor came out a bit feebly and he talked of the problem. And yesterday I saw the senator, former Governor Ali Roba, also talk about it. I would not weigh in and say the residents are not talking about it. If you're under occupation, you would not want to draw attention to yourself.
Yeah.
So it is the failure of the government. I've seen Mukomen denying. He should deny standing in Mandera and telling us there is nothing. It is a thing that William Ruto should address directly.
Yes.
The CS defense, Soipan, where is she? Or is she a cosmetic CS?
Yes.
She should be talking about it. This is a security issue.
Yes.
Where is the National Security Council? Does it exist? Its mandate is to ensure there is security internally and within our borders.
Mheshimiwa, the confusion that arises from this situation, characterized by the silence, what you call feeble pronouncements about it, raises very many questions. Jubaland is next to our border, right? I was telling my colleague here earlier on that the northeastern parts of this country have been known to have conflict for the longest time, and most of the conflicts were between clans. I said, when you look at the boundaries and the borders that we have, those clans do not know boundaries. Meaning, if there's a community that is in one part of East Africa as it is in Kenya, that boundary, we can draw the line, but they relate as though there is no boundary.
The relatives are across.
Exactly.
It's like Busia.
Yes.
It is like
Namanga.
Isebania.
Yes.
Namanga.
Yes.
Those are our brothers. So we are not talking about individuals crossing the border and doing legitimate business or visiting each other. We are talking of armed forces from Jubaland doing their drill inside.
Remember, this matter started with the news that fishermen in Turkana had been killed. Okay? Okay? A lot of hoo-ha, a lot of noise. My question is this, we have a barracks in that region. Once again, you hear nothing. This is military. When I say more questions are raised than there are answers, you have to ask, what is the quarrel that we have with Jubaland? I would say we don't actually have a quarrel with Jubaland.
It's actually supposed not quarrel because Kenya has been accused by Somalia of supporting
Jubaland.
Jubaland.
Yes.
And there are sections in government who are known to be very close to the regime in Jubaland. And the original issue, even during the Kibaki regime, was that some people in Kenya were doing the charcoal trade in Jubaland. That was the problem. Even with the militias
charcoal trade
from there.
and even the sugar trade that were used that as a conduit.
So it is deliberate.
This comes in now with my discussion of clan. You see?
Yeah.
Because of these cross-border relationships, There are issues that emanate in Somalia.
And find us here.
They will cross our borders. They are not our issues.
Yes.
They'll cross the borders because of that community. And I was giving him the example of the Oromo who are actually Borana in Kenya.
Yeah.
All right? Now, why is it that we don't have a problem in Busia? We don't have a problem in Islandia. We don't have a problem in Namanga. We don't. And these are areas...
And there are no barracks.
Yes. And there are communities on both sides of this so-called boundary or fence.
Even in the borders in the northern area,
Yes.
we did not always have a problem.
No, we did not.
The Meriles occasionally raid the Turkanas.
Yes.
We've also had the Karamoja and Pokot issues, but they're not permanent. It is up to each country within its borders to manage its internal security. But instead, Kenya has lowered the guard and allowed insecurity to be exported from outside.
You see, again, in my mind, questions are raised. To what end?
I said it could be short term. The by-election in Banisa just creating insecurity so that one term doesn't get access to, and the people do not get access to expressing themselves.
Right.
We've seen that Nairobi is being made ungovernable, generally to stop activity. Nairobi is an opposition zone.
Yes.
It's a one-term zone. So what do? They respond with insecurity. And actually the whole country, I believe that if the circumstances are right, the majority of Kenyans are one term. They are one term because they are feeling the pressure of the negative things happening in this regime.
Right.
And they would like change. That doesn't mean they have settled on how that change will look like. But people are feeling the pressure. The response, goonism and insecurity.
Do you remember in a time gone by when Kenya, it was said, was under threat from Uganda?
Yeah.
And that the president then, Idi Amin,
Yeah.
wanted to extend the boundaries to what he considered the old boundaries to Nakuru and
Yeah.
beyond even Naivasha.
Naivasha, yeah.
Yes, and people who are mobilized now. When you pause and ask yourself what was also happening at that particular time,
Yeah.
and why, because the focus was shifted on these fellows wanting to raid Kenya and push, and I remember I was a young person then, but the question was not asked, so how are they going to do it?
See, they just cross over with
They would
guns.
just have crossed over with the army. But Kenya's attention, even a long time ago, when in Somalia, a government minister talked of Greater Somalia that would extend to inside Kenya,
Yes.
Kenya's response was swift. Now we have an army of a neighboring state entering Kenya, and the regime appears very comfortable. And therefore, we must be excused of speculating, including that the insecurity is deliberate. We empathize with our brothers and sisters in the north because every citizen should be able to go about their business normally. And we are not talking about people visiting and crossing. We are talking of an army coming and pushing people out of their homes and preventing normal activity from going on. There are people who have fled.
If it were you, president today, how would you have dealt with that
To
situation?
begin with, they would not have crossed. Because you must secure your borders. You see, by the time they group to enter, what are you doing? How is it that you do not know? You have intelligence services. You have everything. So there's no way. So you sort it before they enter. And then also, our policy must be clear, foreign policy. If we recognize Somalia, and we do,
Right.
we must not interfere with their internal affairs. We must not interfere with the internal affairs of any of the nations, whether it is Sudan or whether it is Somalia. Let Somalia and Jubaland sort out their issues. We should actually be a facilitator, not an obstacle. But unfortunately, Kenya has kept, or has elements in government who have kept interests, unknown interests, business and otherwise, on Jubaland, and therefore causing bad relations with the state of Somalia. I don't think it's healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question about this government, and the question is, when did the rain start beating them? Because President William Ruto was elected by, popularly, and
I
everyone.
don't believe he was elected, but let's go on.
Yeah.
He took over.
By the way,
So, yes.
popularly means he won by a very huge margin. Kibaki was popularly elected.
All right.
First time.
Yes. The times when President Moi won, it wasn't popular. 35% is not popular.
33, actually, you are adding him.
A little generosity over time is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am simply saying he was elected.
Okay.
200,000 votes.
He was declared winner, not elected. Declared winner by Chebukati.
Right.
Yeah.
So, at what point did the rain start beating this particular government? Because they took over the reins of power. What went wrong, and at what point?
I think the rain started beating Kenyans, not just the regime, when this regime took over power, because it became clear that they did not mean any of the things they said. They came on a popular program, and they have done everything to oppress the people. They are akin to the extractive colonial regime. They want to extract every drop of blood. And when they get the resources together, they are just wasting spending on them. They have actually repurposed the state to serve them, not the people of Kenya. Everything is to serve them. SHA is not for access to health. It's amassing money, sharing it up, while Kenyans languish without access. Our taxes, education is being defunded, while they increase spending for themselves. What are we doing? Adding money for renovation of State House at a time we are not doing well economically and we have debt. If it was structural repairs, not completely redoing and continuing to redo, and if they were not stopped by the court, building tunnels under the guise of the church and bankers, like you want to live there forever. And, all the things that they're doing. Lavish, we are supporting lavish lifestyles and expanding government at a time we have no money. Look at the priorities, upside down. So the rain started beating Kenyans when we did not take our voting rights seriously and invested with clear warning signals in voting in or voting substantially, because we must admit that William Ruto and his group did get a substantial vote, even though I maintain they were declared illegally as winners, but they had a substantial vote.
Okay.
So failing to differentiate which people to vote for and which people not to vote for. And I'm telling Kenyans that when you have a chance again, whether in a by-election or in a general election, think twice about whom you vote.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the presidency. It's right from your door. Your MCA, your governor, the 3 national MPs, that's women rep, senator, and constituency MP. And then finally the president.
Yeah.
Vote in people who will stick to the path and be true representatives of the people. All the elected leaders, or a majority of them, are now representatives of William Ruto. I even had one boasting in parliament that you wanted the tax bill passed, we passed it for you. You wanted this done, we did it for you. Are you there to do it for him, or in the best interests of Kenyans?
Kenyans, yeah.
So that is where it is us. We must ask ourselves, even as we blame them, how can we turn back this unfortunate tide? It's only by doing things intentionally.
Right.
Voting in people who whom you have checked the background, and you know that they are pro-people and that they are value-based.
Right.
Yes, we must rethink the role of money.
Raila Odinga has collaborated with the president on the broad-based government issue, and it is said that at one point during Maandamano last year, when things became really hot, apparently the president called Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Were you called to join this?
No, and I don't think he would have the courage to call me. No, he wouldn't.
Yeah.
And Raila did indicate to us, they talked, and we, at least personally, I opposed it. we agreed on how it would look like if at all there were genuine talks. And that's why I was not a fan even of NADCO. I did not agree with it at all. They were duped. But apparently...
Who was duped?
My Azimio brothers were duped to go into NADCO.
Okay.
Me, I knew that Ruto was not genuine. And it was quite apparent because at talks that could have taken 90 days took 1 year. To date, implementation has been slow. So he sort of, it was a pacifier in the mouth of a crying child. Okay? You keep quiet, no milk is coming through the pacifier.
Yeah.
You know, it's just meant to occupy you for a moment. Even what is happening, even this illegal committee to compensate, it's a pacifier. If it was genuine compensation, that is within the mandate of the Constitutional Commission called the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights. That's something they would do. The police would be busy or IPOA identifying the police who acted criminally and shot to kill. We would be having people prosecuted. There cannot be peace without justice. Compensating and continuing to kill is not a sensible policy. So start with seeking justice parallel to the compensation. And don't start your own creations. Follow the institutions. We have enough institutions. One of them, a constitutional commission. Why do you want to duplicate mandate? Because you want to occupy people. This regime lights fires every day. If we are not talking about the occupation forces in Mandera, we will be talking about goons in Nairobi. Tomorrow there will be this scandal, that scandal. We are being kept running around. We must concentrate. The answer to these things is one: get rid of this rogue regime. And let there be a transformational government that is people-centered.
The president has a lot of advisors. These people, I don't know, in your opinion again, don't they advise the president? Because every time the president, not all the time, but many of the times the president is coming up with a committee or a commission or something ad hoc, it is always stopped by the courts. Yet he has a lot of lawyers in his cabinet. He has a lot of lawyers advising him. What's the problem with that?
He has the office of the AG.
He has the AG.
The AG appears to be largely ceremonial, even from the statements that she's making. That office, we last heard a voice when Justin Muturi was occupying it. I think my dear sister is just happy to occupy the office. I even saw her cutsing to the king, in quotes, if you like. That's not a very good show. And you talked of advisors. Ruto is his own advisor. He's also the single. He's also the head of every ministry. Everybody else is ceremonial. It's not just the AG. He advises himself. Those are just jobs he has given to cronies. Okay?
Yes.
So what is happening is that we have a government that is set up contrary to the constitution. And that's why everything is so wrong. And that's why I say the answer is one. That Kenya has one enemy, the Ruto regime, Ruto and his entire complement. And once we get rid of that and make sure that the transformational government coming in has a people's agenda which the people have approved and which the people will hold them to account on. From now on, Kenyans must be vigilant and very active so that no government governs without people's participation. You know, we've been used to keeping quiet. I actually wonder whether we had taken leave of our senses. Wafula Chebukati, the late, said that only the commission could announce results. When they were announced at the polling stations, instead of even the media tallying and announcing, like say in County X, this is the presidential vote, like school children, nursery school children, because school children of upper classes may talk. Like nursery school kids, we kept quiet the way Daddy Chebukati had said. And even when we were saying as Azimio we had won, the media houses didn't want to talk. It's only the other day the court said that actually we had the majority. It is not possible that you can have 27 counties called out for you as against 20, and the one with 20 has more votes. It's not possible, especially when you look at the blocks. Because if you're balancing the bigger constituencies, Meru and Kiambu were called out for Ruto, and they're big. But Nairobi, Kakamega, Mombasa were called out for us. And although we didn't have 27 governors, we had 24. Taita Taveta, which had an independent, was called for us. Nairobi, which has an UDA governor, was called for us. Narok was called for us, although they took away the governor's seat. So 24 plus 3 is 27. For him, he had only 18 counties. But Meru, which had an independent, was called for him. That's 19. Kirinyaga, not Kirinyaga, which other one was called out for him?
Kiambu.
She has already mentioned Kiambu.
I've mentioned Kiambu. And the governor was also UDA. But they had 20 counties because Azimio had 27, I've said how, and they had 20.
Okay.
So it is not possible, even if you do that math. But so the coming election, how we must help ourselves. We must all tally and announce the results the way we did in 2002. So because the tallying ends, the counting ends at the polling station.
Yes.
The tallying ends at the constituency, not even at the county. So we must call out the 290 constituencies independently. That's how you watch the polls. And we must call every constituency as it comes. We must be ahead of the official tally. That's what we did in 2002. In fact, I remember telling Kevuito at City Hall that if he doesn't issue that certificate, within an hour we will make him irrelevant because we'll announce for ourselves. And then he took the certificate because already we knew we had won. I was observing Senegal January of 2023 or 24. It's 2020. January 2023, I believe, or 2024, I went to the Senegal elections. And people had called out the vote by 10 that evening.
10 p.m.
And there was a carnival. Some sources from government tried to say that it looks like a runoff. But people were out, the whole of Senegal, celebrating.
Yeah.
So the government candidate, towards 11, calls Jumaye Faye and congratulates him, even before it is formally announced. The same way Uhuru congratulated Kibaki in 2002. So there is power in people keeping watch and verbalizing the votes, because it's not you who counted, it's IBC through the presiding officer. So one of the things to defeat a thieving regime, call out the votes. Firstly, at the polling station.
Yes.
Then at the constituency. For the presidential and gubernatorial vote. And that way, we shall announce for ourselves. And do not fear being told that you cannot announce. The Constitution says open and accountable.
Yes.
So if it's open, it's transparent. So you can sing that vote. After all, they are required to actually paste it on the door of the polling station. So what is remaining that you have to be secret about it? And then they waste a whole week in Nairobi tallying what even a primary school kid can tally in an hour. That's where the manipulation occurs. Yeah.
Because we've been having issues for a while as far as elections are concerned, and especially whereby losing candidates always come out and say something was not right, something it wasn't tallied right, or SG form 16A and every...
Like I'll tell you, the Kirinyaga gubernatorial election in 2017.
Yes.
When they stopped showing the results on the screen, I was leading. And they never showed again. They just announced a winner. And that's the story of very many people. You see? And you see, once somebody is announced, you have to go to court. I go to court. The court loses my exhibits, electronic evidence, and then says evidence not sufficient. I go to the Court of Appeal. They confirm the court lost my exhibits. I go to the Supreme Court. The court says, we sympathize. that an innocent litigant has been thrown out of the Court of Justice. So I go to East African,
Court of Justice.
not to get the seat, but for them to inquire whether Kenya violated the rule of law by not addressing issues of justice. And they found Kenya had not addressed issues of justice. Courts of law are not there for issuing sympathy. They must issue justice. None of the courts, not even the Maraga court, dealt administratively with how a court of law can lose crucial exhibits of a litigant. So the thing is, Kenya's only remedy is not to wait to go to court. Let us arrest the situation. Let us participate. The Constitution gives us the right to participate in the counting. When they finish at the polling station, let us announce that vote to the world.
Had the courts maybe recognized the fact that evidence had been lost in your case,
Yeah.
what would have been the next step?
We had that evidence. They just rejected it because, you see, the electronic evidence was also attached to our pleadings. So that evidence ought to have been admitted. But they rejected it, claiming, one, they say it was not in their file, although it was in the Court of Appeal file, and therefore rejected it. So you reject evidence in order to give the verdict you want to give. But I still hold, even with the evidence we had, there was sufficient evidence.
Yeah.
That's a story for another day.
Okay.
I'm just giving example that we should never wait for the verdict. We should be proactive, participate in the electoral process. And the process doesn't just begin with voting and counting. Right now, we have so many young people without ID cards. Some areas are getting ease in acquisition of ID cards, which are prerequisite before you get a voter's card. Other areas, there is no ease. We must take tally, call out the government, do whatever is necessary to make sure every Kenyan is registered. We must ensure that, unlike last time, the register is cleaned off dead voters and duplicate voters. You have seen people, IDs being displayed on social media, one person having 5 or 6. We must get to all those issues. We have enough time now. And that is some of the things we in the United Opposition Forum are going to look at.
But let me ask this question, Mheshimiwa. Everything that is done on behalf of the people, it is hoped that the people are willing participants and that they understand the issues that are being dealt with. If the enormity of what you say is understood, would Kenyans not function differently? I'll give an example of what I mean. The problems with our electoral system, my first encounter with it was when Jaramogi Oginga Odinga formed KPU and by-elections followed. Ballot boxes were being found in Njoro River. As far back as that. We hadn't gotten to this sort of sophistication that we have. If you look at our electoral, just the process by which we elect people, it's actually very sophisticated and very good. When people go to cast their votes, it's actually like a holiday. I always marvel at how pleasant it is.
It's like a carnival.
Yes, and the discussions with different views, you can even tell who is voting for who. Once we voted and we're waiting for the results, then the problems begin.
The security forces become hostile?
Suddenly, that ease with which we actually cast our ballots disappears. Now, you say that there was an electronic failure with your results. I remember the 2007 elections had a similar problem.
There was no electronic voting.
No. The announcement that was there suddenly ceased at a certain point. There was a blackout. There was a period when, yes, there was.
Okay.
There was a period when there was no information about the votes. Now, those...
At KICC.
Yes. Those who supported Raila Odinga said, but Raila Odinga was ahead by 2 million votes.
No, 1 million.
I said, those who supported Raila Odinga said, okay? I'm going somewhere with this. There's what has been observed as the practice that we have witnessed in our electoral system. How do we ensure that everything that you're saying which is constitutional is actually adhered to and understood. The reason why it continues is because the voter supports the malpractice that we see. If they didn't support it, inactivity or the lack of opposition is akin to support, in my opinion. But if we sit and keep quiet, we might as well support it.
I think you have a great point there, that that polling clerk,
yes,
that presiding officer, that returning officer is a Kenyan like you and me. If everybody did their duty, we would not even need agents. And what do I mean by doing their duty? Sticking to the law,
yes,
to the terms of reference you were given. You are not there to manipulate. You are there to aid in the expression of people's will. Stick to your lane. And I keep saying, you might think that you're helping somebody who has greased your hand, but you are creating an untenable situation for yourself. When there is insecurity because elections are disputed, it may be your relative who becomes a casualty. It could even be you. So why do we do it? This is a conversation we need, and I think we need to understand from the person who is within the system of IEBC, to the security officer, to the voter, how do we stand up for our country? How do you do the right thing? So that the security officer understands. He is there to restrain me if I'm doing something wrong, not to kill me or annihilate me, and only use necessary force. And you could even in the first instance use persuasion. Tell the person, please, you can't go beyond this line. Engage them. But we come out with our anger on the people, we harm each other. In the process, we destroy our country. Look at where we are. We need to rebuild. We need to change, and change begins with us. So I do agree with you, CT. We need to engage ourselves on our conduct and how we aid our own oppression. Even how do we pick leaders? Last elections, you tell somebody this person is a thief. This person is named in every corruption scandal. They tell you, I know, but I've made up my mind, stop it. I am voting for that person. And I'm not meaning just one seat. Someone wrote the other day that in Parliament, over 70 members have cases touching on integrity. If you go to the certain counties, the MCA and governors too have cases. So it is something we did with reckless abandon. So can we say, how did we find ourselves here? Where did the rain start beating us? It doesn't mean that we have had angels in all parliaments, but I do remember that up to the 10th parliament is very few people you would get having cases in parliament.
Yeah.
And that's why I was even able to raise a question about William Ruto in 2010 after the constitution was passed, because he was facing criminal charges relating to money he was paid by the Kenya Pipeline Corporation, which incidentally he wants to sell, and under the guise that he was selling land to them that turned out to be Gong Forest. But he'd already pocketed over 200 million. So I raised a question that the constitution having passed, he did not conform to chapter 6 and needed to be stopped.
Yes.
And he was stepped down as Minister for Agriculture by Right Honorable Raila Odinga.
Right.
But later saved by Kibaki and returned. But you can see we were trying to enforce the constitution. So it is our duty as people to assess each candidate, to assess from the smallest seat, because there's no small seat when it comes to service. Imagine most of the critical services are at the county level. So we should worry. Even if you elect a good president, there will not be your governor or county government. Funds will be released to your county, and you should care how your county will behave.
Mheshimiwa, there's something I want to understand.
Yeah.
You are a member of parliament for Gishugu.
Yeah.
Okay. Who did you defeat when you were first elected?
Daddy Karevi, Geoffrey
Precisely.
Karevi.
And who was he? What had he been?
He was the former chief secretary almost a prime minister at that time because he was very powerful, feared by even the ministers. Okay? He had ceased to be chief secretary, had been elected and become an assistant minister. So when multi-party came, he abandoned KANU, came like most people are doing, and came to Ford. We ended up in Ford Asili with him. And in September of the election year 92, they rigged the Ford Asili elections, party elections, and I realized this is a prelude to what will happen in the nominations. So I abandoned those elections and went to DP. So I met him as a DP candidate when he was a Ford Asili candidate. He was a man, revered man with a lot of influence, even in the security forces, a lot of money. I was just a young person without much money, and I was able to floor him. I had about 22, almost 23,000 votes to his 11,000.
Had a woman ever been elected in Kirinyaga before you?
No, not in. In fact, in that election,
yes,
the first two women in central Kenya were me and Mary Wanjiru of Kinakop. Yeah.
The prophet.
Yeah. And me, I came in against the tide of Ford Asili because Matiba was immensely popular. But when I left Ford Asili, went to DP, DP gained advantage. You know, I was a household name.
Yes.
Then known as Martha Njoka. I actually vied as Martha Njoka.
Yes.
Because the name had become an issue, because I had already been separated. I decided to show my constituents a bit of style. And I did a deed poll, changed my name, campaigned as Martha Njoka, was sworn in as Martha Karua.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked the question,
interesting,
because I'm fast forwarding your career.
Yeah.
How many times were you elected?
4, just 4.
Very few
consecutive.
people. Yes, consecutively. What is it, do you think, that made the people of Gishugu elect you time and again?
Let me first say I was not the only one. Raila, Ngilu, a few of us. But it's very few who get 4 times consecutively. Let me say that I served the people of Gishugu to the best of my ability.
And they understood it.
I would see them. I had a clinic once a month. Even when we had no constituency offices, I hired an office for DP where I used to see people. And it was the 3rd Monday of every month, so a definite day. And I kept myself open. Remember those days there wasn't much going on.
Yes.
I served them in parliament to the best of my ability. I liaised with partners, did projects, was available to them. And the people don't demand much. I didn't have money to give them.
You are accessible.
I was accessible.
And they believed that you had their interest at heart.
At heart.
Right. Now, I'm going somewhere with this question.
Yeah.
Then we come to national politics now.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You are a minister.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
At some point, you resign.
Yeah.
Why did you resign?
I resigned because the government that I served, the Kibaki government, had ceased to follow the things we had said we would follow. And one of my beef, remember I was Minister of Justice.
Yes.
One of my dockets was fight against corruption. I was aggrieved that when he formed the coalition government, he allowed people who would not pass the test. Then we didn't have Chapter 6, we had not passed the Constitution, but under the Public Officers Ethics Act, people who were unsuitable. And I raised this issue. He was advised by others, and remember I was his Minister for Justice, that because it's a coalition government, he can ignore. But very quickly, on forming government, corruption started being accommodated. And I want to be clear that corruption had entered government towards the end of the first term. And remember, after the referendum, there was the Anglo leasing matter.
Yes, there was.
And I, as deputy leader of government business, had accepted the Uhuru Kenyatta report, then as opposition leader, on Anglo leasing. I had convinced Kibaki that we must accept the report because it's recommending investigations, and we too are investigating. You know, there is this thing of rejecting everything, opposition. So he had asked me, is it going to affect his vice president? Because Mundi has been chastised in the report. I told him, I don't think it will. I will be able to argue and show that he is condemned unfairly because the body of the report does not show any culpability. I also visited Uhuru in his office as leader of opposition, and I told him, what you've done in your report against Moody is wrong. And I told him, one day you could be president. Would you like to be accused wrongly?
In this manner, yes.
Yeah. And I regret those words because I blessed him and I was interested in the same seat. When you tell someone you could be president. So it's like forecasting, isn't it? So he actually was very reasonable. They were with Bill Okello, who was a member of the committee and one of his key people. And he told me he agrees. And he asked me whether I would like us to amend the report. The nation was very tense. Parliament was tense. Even our own members were ready to throw us under the bus. So I told him I don't want the report amended because people will not understand. But when you are moving, mention that discrepancy. And when I'm going to accept the report, I will also mention that so that no sanction follows the vice president. But I did not defend any minister. I said every minister has a mouth. The questions raised in the report, I too have them. Jivijali. For which I lost friends because they thought I should. But my role was not to defend.
So that's the point I'm getting to.
Yeah.
Do you really think that our voting public accept and are in a position to accept somebody who actually takes a stand? Because if I look at the politicians we have, they are fluid.
I think people have suffered to an extent.
Have they suffered enough, really?
I think, how much more would you want people
I
to
don't
suffer?
know, because the demonstration that they have had enough should reflect in the way they accept
the vote.
Yes, and the message that they are given. If people have suffered enough, they will understand you should not accept people who go around giving you money.
Oh, yeah. But
they still receive money.
No, I want to tell you something. The widespread poverty around is something new. The poverty has gone so deep that there are people who have no idea where the next meal is coming from.
And there are many.
Whole families of jobless people. Now, to tell a very hungry person not to take a meal in front of them would be a miracle.
No,
so you tell them.
It's not the taking, Mheshimiwa, alone.
Yeah.
It is the taking
and being influenced.
You see, the thing is, there's this lopsided honor that our people have.
An emotional last-minute decision.
Yeah, they feel, if I've taken this person's money, at least I should do something for him. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is...
I get you.
Yes. There are very many... No, there are not many people in this country who get elected and they are known not to give money. They are known.
Yeah.
You were not known to give money. What you are known for is taking a stand. It's unfortunate when people take a stand in this country, that's my point, they become unpopular, not popular.
Yeah, but for 4 terms, I was elected consecutively. And I believe if I had gone for MP, I would still have been elected or governor at that time.
Yes.
I went for president.
Yes.
And because I had left government, they used government to decampaign me for more than 2 years. When I left government, look at a poll that had been done, I believe by Ipsos or by one of the pollsters. I left government in April. That poll was done that April or soon thereafter. I was the leading candidate ahead of Raila with 2 points. I was at 19, he was at 17. Kibaki was at 6, Uhuru was at the bottom. So it's how also state resources are used and state machinery to decampaign people, and how gullible our people can be. There are people up to this day who question why I left Kibaki. They say that I'm emotional, I abandoned. They do not realize that I actually sacrificed. Being a minister meant higher perks, almost double the salary of the MP. I left power, privilege, and money. You see? Because I sacrificed to go back to the backbench to keep to my values. Because the government now was accommodating corruption. There were extrajudicial killings. And a justice minister has also the mandate on human rights. administration of justice
Yep.
had been infiltrated and it was under me. They were appointing people without proper criteria. So I said, no, thank you. It's not going to go under my name. I left. You see? Because I want to be able to stand and tell you I did your job.
Okay.
And I'm glad that by the time I left, we'd already done a framework to help finalize the constitutional review process. And when I descended to the back benches, I was part of the committee on constitutional review.
Reforms or reasons.
And I was able to push. If you go to the Hansard, you will see I was leading the team defending the 2010 constitution from 500 proposed amendments. It has 286 articles. There were proposed, it said 286, 250 something anyway, but they had proposed double the number of amendments. We led a crusade, and that time Bandy was a first-time member and a very great ally. We'd leave him inside, we would walk out so that he gives us information. And we frustrated those amendments until they were abandoned.
Okay. Mheshimiwa, if come 2027, Kenyans do actually elect you as their president, what are some of the first, like five gains that you'd ensure that they get in the first 6 months?
The first day is remind and restate that we are under rule of law. We must adhere to constitutionalism and the rule of law. The rule of law anyway includes constitutionalism, and that the rule of law will be enforced across the board, it doesn't matter who. That immediately helps everything, including governance, because people know they are accountable. And once you pull the resources, both human and other, and utilize them optimally for the interests of the people, you'll be able to reset health services in the first 100 days. Reset education. Not everything will be smooth, but you will have started the journey. In fact, all the pillars, there'll be a beginning of the journey towards food sufficiency by investing in agriculture, because by then you will be redirecting the resources, and you don't need to wait for the budget to be passed. There is already the budget that was passed last. You start with that. I used to say it when I was a running mate, that the things we have promised in Azimio, we are not going to start looking for money. The starting point is what you already have, and then you mobilize. I did that when I was Minister for Water, a very small budget. And I said I'm not going to ask for addition first. First is to use optimally what you have, to seal the leakages, to change the culture. Then by the next budget, when you're asking for more money, you have a system that is up and running. So get a functional state. Get a corporation that runs. Where you need to make changes, make immediately. But make yourself very clear, because leadership does matter. Remember, Kibaki came in, the constitution had not been changed. No law was changed, but he was able to proclaim a day before he was sworn in that primary school education will be free. The next Monday, children were going to school. We didn't first ask where is the money coming from. We were doing the math while they are already in school, you know, and they were in numbers that they needed facilities. Okay? The hospitals started treating people. We didn't wait for the next budget. And before we knew it, people could see there is a change in trajectory, and they were queuing at KRA to pay taxes. We saw change even in the people, because people must be partners in change. People recovered KICC from Kanu. An orderly big group, you could call it an orderly mob because there were really many. They entered KICC, flushed Kanu out. Not a single window pane broken. They just did it in an orderly manner and gave the keys of KICC to Tuju, who was then Minister of Communication. So you could see people stopping policemen from taking bribes. Kenyans are ready to become partners. People need leadership. I would offer leadership. And in the first 100 days, you would see the direction towards the promises.
One of the biggest problems in this country is corruption. How would you tackle it? Because corruption is really, really, really
I tackled
entrenched.
corruption in water. Within a very short time, we had turned things round. The cost of drilling a borehole when I became Minister of Water was 6 million shillings. That's in 2003.
Okay.
Within a year of being there, the cost had reduced by 3/4. It was now 1.5. And it's just sitting with the officers, checking, following, just doing the work you're paid to do. And telling them, I can see this is where things are lost. Because when you inquire further, you find that most of the money is spent by your officers who will go, camp halfway to where they are going to drill, spend 3 weeks, then send somebody to come back to the headquarters for something they forgot. So when you check the costs, you see that most of the money has been spent extraneously. That way, you give very little money to the actual service, and that's a classic example because there are many other examples. Monitoring and evaluation sometimes takes more than the job.
You know,
So-
there are things that you never get to hear, so
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you one of them.
Yeah.
I come from a part of the country that is known for its flooding,
Yeah.
Nyando.
Yeah.
Now, when you are minister for water,
Yeah.
there are several things that you did. There were water pans that had been in very many of the villages. They were reclaimed.
Yeah.
Nyando River was dredged.
Mhm.
Strangely enough, the flooding seemed to cease.
To stop flooding. And even
Yes.
even Budalangi,
Yes.
the time I was minister,
Yes.
we had managed to tame the floods.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what we did.
Yes.
Making sure that the money allocated, and it was very little, the budget of water, before I left the ministry, had not even gone to 5 billion. It came to 42 billion shortly thereafter because I raised the profile of water and showed effectiveness in applying the little resources that were there. What used to happen is that the money allocated, they would give very many little contracts and nobody would do anything but money will be dispensed. What we did for Budalangi, I got the National Youth Service under their director then, Mr. Japheth Mwania, a very effective officer. And I was being told by people in my ministry, you have to advertise. I said, when you are contracting a government department, you don't advertise. We will enter into an MOU and we transfer the budget to them. That's what we did. The National Youth Service under Mwania did the dikes at Budalangi, and they were done so effectively for a while. There was no flooding. But when I left water and things changed, flooding returned. We did the same for Nyando. I came to Nyando and I felt so bad. You see schools. I remember, I don't know whether it's Rai girls. You see every year they are ravaged by water. You look at the homes around. Those people cannot even keep a sofa set because it will still be flooded.
Yes.
Every year their things are destroyed. And they have to go back to zero.
Yes.
It's a very, very sad situation. So I was saying that there's a way we can find. You make sure that the river can accommodate the water. You also do dams because the same areas have drought. In the same year they've had a flood. So we must have dams which will store the excess water. We were supposed to do a dam to also tame the Zoya River on the other side. There's a master plan. Those things have not been done to date. So the flooding remains. It is whether you are acting in the best interest of the people or you are looking for opportunity to line your pockets. And that's not just the minister. It will be the people. The minister may not even get the money or be interested. But if you do not focus on your job to give the leadership, things will continue the way they have continued. In fact, my office has told me that they haven't seen a minister who gets interested in what is done, and they were suggesting I'm wrong. And I told them that before they spell the word failure, they'll be home. If anybody doesn't go according to policy. We also had pressure to give water, Nairobi water services, to the French to run. And I clearly told, yes, There was a Nairobi Water Option Studies report by the World Bank, which was suggesting that because of corruption, we should give an international company, and they had pointed at a Vivendi company.
Were they funding that particular process?
No. You know, okay, they'll fund, it will be funded, but not by the French, but they were pointing at the French.
Yes, but the World Bank were willing to fund that process.
They were willing.
Yes.
I will tell you that when I refused, they actually walked away for 3 months. But when they realized the reforms were getting underway without them, they came back running. And I remember being told by mandarins at Treasury that I have done something terrible because we will not get funding. Then I told them the act says it is the minister, and I am she, and I'll take responsibility because it's our reforms. So we went on. The Swedish supported me fully. They were the only partner on the whatever those 3 months. They had given me one of their experts to help me roll out the reforms. And then I identified willing officers within the ministry with whom to align. And my deputy minister or assistant minister then, Munez, we were working very closely together. And within, and my PS was Professor Kroda. I must say they all helped me. And within a short time, the reforms were underway. Within 3 months, the World Bank came knocking. They came back because they didn't want it to succeed without them.
They're a practical lot. They know when they're being let out with a good thing.
Yeah, but
There's
it
a reason
is
why they were created.
So what I'm saying, when you're given a responsibility, either as a minister or a senior officer or a PS, remember you work for the people of Kenya. Because all that I heard is that the donor said. And by the way, the person is not a donor, is a lender. It's like your bank. Why would they be superior to you? I was telling the World Bank people, these are my reforms, not your reforms.
Yeah.
So you examine whether my proposal makes sense and will do the things done. But you cannot dictate to me how to do the water. I told them I had researched, and even in France and elsewhere, over 80% of the world's water was in public hands, either in local authorities or whatever. But there was this thing in developing nations where they wanted the surveys to go to foreigners. It's already been done in Senegal, in Romania, in Tanzania, and Uganda was just entering into it. Those are the countries I was able to Google.
Yeah.
And there were already water riots in Romania and in Senegal. And I was telling Makta Diop, a Senegalese who then was heading the World Bank here.
He was here in Nairobi.
Yeah, there are riots in your country. Why do you want me to take that? We're not going to give water. Water is a critical service. You don't give people to run for you.
It's actually a security
and that's
resource.
why it's a security issue. And that's why I'm wondering how William Ruto and his regime think that you can sell the Kenya pipeline. We can't do without fuel. It's a security issue. It's one of the most productive state parastatals.
And profitable.
Profitable. I said, actually.
You said productive, but
and profitable.
profitable.
Thank you for adding that. I meant actually profitable.
Yeah.
How do you sell it? And who is this investor? Is it you in disguise and your people? Who is it? Your cabals?
But even the selling, when you speak of it, why sell it?
And it means someone can stop operations in Kenya at will. Imagine when there's an outbreak of cholera and you have a foreign company running water in Nairobi, you go to beg them to take certain measures. The time between sitting with them to allow you certain things, people will have died. You can't give water. Critical services is like leasing security to a foreigner. You can't. There are things you got to do by yourself. If you need expertise, you can bring a person or two, but you must do it yourself. And in case of water, the World Bank report was clearly saying that Kenya has the requisite technical expertise. Then the conclusion was completely out of this world and not supported by the body of the report, that because of corruption bring foreigners. So I was telling the then French ambassador when he came to ask me whether there are chances for French business people doing water in Nairobi. I told him, as long as I'm not doing water in Paris, no French person will do water in Nairobi.
Mheshimiwa, there's a question here on our X account. There's Chenge Watenge asking, Mheshimiwa, do we have any need of amending the constitution at the moment? Which section do you think, especially under devolution?
Absolutely not. What we need to amend is our mindset. We need to change our mindset, and we need to adhere to the constitution. You cannot let a regime that has no respect for the constitution and the rule of law to tell you there is need to amend. They are going to cannibalize and dismember that constitution. Let's keep it as it is. The problems we are experiencing are not a failure of the constitution. It's a failure of our fidelity to our own country and to the law. From the civil servant to the politician, we are serving our interests or extraneous interests, not the interests of the people. Let those in the judiciary, and there are some who are doing very well, but for those who make decisions not based on the best interests of the people, remember that all of you, from the highest to the lowest, you are there courtesy of the people of Kenya. Remember who your employer is, act in the best interests. That is my advice for now, not constitutional or legal reforms.
There's another one. Someone is saying that in 2005 you were quoted as calling Somalis in Garissa refugees. Have you since mended relations with the people of Garissa, or were you misquoted?
May I first tell you that my relationship with Northeastern have been very strong, and the highest number of MCAs we have is Wajir. And when Mount Kenya is not giving me MCAs, I still get them in northern Kenya. And there's a clip by The Nation. It is clear that I'm responding to somebody who said that some of the participants in the meetings are refugees. There's nowhere you get me calling people refugees. I'm saying, even if, as you say, they're refugees, the fact that is that we didn't convince them to listen to us. You see, because it doesn't matter where people come from, the ones you're addressing. If they say, and people didn't want that draft, so the people did not listen to us. So whoever they were, the fact of the matter is that they rejected our proposal. That's what I was responding to. So misinformation, especially when there are clips, cannot work. That clip is very clear that I'm responding.
The problem with clips is that they're not contextualized. Yes.
But you can hear even if. Once you hear even if they are, then you know I'm responding.
You know, there's always a disconnect between what someone says and what the other person hears. Selective hearing is something that we do very well. And when it is then amplified on social media, again, it is clear what someone is saying, but you'll pick what it is that you feel was being
said.
And
I want also to say one other thing. That I am the one in Naivasha who introduced the Equalization Fund to assist marginalized areas like Northeastern, accelerate development. Those I have been in parliament with from those areas, and those who have heard me know that I have been an advocate for affirmative action in development to enable Kenya to be one in terms of access to services. I have been an advocate of social justice throughout. I never cast people as others. We are one Kenya, one nation, one people. And that used to be the tagline of the party we have rebranded to be the People's Liberation Party, whose tagline now is Unite, Liberate. We believe in the unity of all Kenyans. We are all equal, we are one.
Another question here also coming from social media. You were in Tanzania recently. Was it really necessary to interfere with the internal affairs of a foreign country?
May I enlighten the questioner that first, I'm a Kenyan. Secondly, I'm an East African. So I was within my jumuiya going to observe a case because what happens within one country in the Jumuiya affects us. If I remind the questioner, Dr. Besigye was arrested in Kenya. There was our young man arrested in Tanzania. I'm forgetting the name. Recently, not arrested, abducted.
Okay.
Boni and Agatha Tuhaire of Uganda were abducted, were arrested and tortured in Tanzania.
Yes.
So I should care about the Jumuiya. Kenyan business people are in all these states. They are also mistreated at times. So we must. The East African song says, tuilinde jumuiya yetu na tuajibike. Nilikuwa naajibika kwa jumuiya kuona ya kwamba sheria za Tanzania na za jumuiya zafuatwa kwa kesi ya Tundu Lissu. Inanuhusu kama mkaazi wa jumuiya. So be informed accordingly.
Yeah. There's this voting block that people are fighting for. I don't know if you're one of the people fighting for this block, the youth block. I think they're being called Gen Z, but I believe it's Gen Z at this point.
Yeah.
So the youth, to be specific, what do you think is one of the things that you will do to capture, number one, their attention, and once in power, what are you going to do for them?
I think the youth protests, the demands were transparency and accountability. Okay? And if those were put together, then we would not have punitive taxation. Now, I too diagnose the problem of Kenya as failure to adhere to the rule of law. As a result of, we have corruption that is holding the nation hostage. I have been a stickler for the rule of law. Even this conversation can reveal that to you.
Yes.
I have, since my youth, been calling for adherence to the rule of law and fighting corruption. The problem of Kenya. So who is suited better than me to lead Kenya in this fight to restore rule of law and to fight corruption? And I believe those are the things that I will engage on. I've already talked of a just economy that will work for everyone, that will be able to create jobs and support the innovation of the youth. And even in the People's Liberation Party, we have youth incorporated in the leadership. And I believe when I form government, when Kenyans honor me with that and I form government, youths will be in that government. It must reflect the nation. And the nation is predominantly young. We have very able, capable youth who can help run the country. But it's not all about age, because equally we have disappointing youth, just like we have disappointing older people and very value-based people. So it's selecting qualified people from all cadres, and especially the youth being the majority. Yeah.
The United Opposition Forum, like you called it, what's the plan with that? Are we looking at a single candidate like we saw in 2002?
Yes. I want to say we now have a spokesperson, Dr. Mukisa Kitui, and he will now be the one leading, disseminating information. But as a principle, I can say this. We are committed to having one candidate for all the posts in 2027, and we want to demonstrate that in our approach to the coming by-elections.
When you say
I do not want to go into how we will arrive at that.
Yes.
Let that now come from the spokesperson, but I can tell you
Yes.
we are committed, and you'll see us moving together. Yeah.
When you say for all the position or for all the posts, what do you mean? Like you said, one candidate for all the position. Do you mean like
There are
from the
six.
MCA
There are 6 positions.
to the president? Yes.
We will be realistic, because what cost at Azimio victory, and it was ours,
Yes.
is fielding multiple candidates and then losing to UDA, because we were ahead of them in seats with about 10 to 12 seats. I kept on saying we were the majority party. You've now believed it because the court has said it, but it was a reality. And Ruto knew it. That's why he went on to woo UDM so that Wetangula could be voted in as speaker. But had we not fielded multiple candidates in areas we felt we were strong, we lost maybe anywhere between 20 and 30 seats. If we had been ahead of our competition with about over 40 seats, it would have been next to impossible to steal. You see? Because how would they have conducted parliament? Getting 40 people is very difficult. But getting 10, wooing a single party, is something they did quite quickly. So we must be very careful to ensure that we maximize on our base everywhere. How that will be done will be clarified as time goes on, but we are working on it very seriously.
There seems to be a question around whether the youth will take up ID cards and whether they will actually vote. CT keeps on reminding me that this is a lot that has not been tested. This is the youth now. It's a lot that has not been tested. Are you of the same opinion? Do you feel like more needs to be done to ensure that these young folks actually do take up their IDs and actually do register to vote? I believe the IBC is going to open up registration soon. So is that a concern?
You've hit the nail on the head. It's a great concern. And it is said that of the 8 million or so who didn't vote, a majority may have been the youth. So now that the youth have this new consciousness, it is our duty, it is the duty of everyone, all generations, to engage each one of us that we have a civic duty to vote. When you don't vote, you lose your right to complain because you are the cause of the bad leadership. Not voting is actually voting in bad leaders because your vote could make the difference. So I'm telling all generations, and especially the Gen Z, kindly pick your card. And if you're having difficulties, those are some of the things as leaders in this country we are going to tackle. We're going to collect data so that our demands will be data driven. We want all Kenyans to have access, all citizens to have access to IDs and to be registered as voters. And I said the voters register must be cleaned. And we want people to know that voting, your rights do not end with voting. It is also your duty to guard the vote, to guard the process. So we must be in this together, talking to each other, enlightening each other, and getting ready.
Some of your colleagues in opposition had issues, with the selection process of IBC up to the point where they were sworn in. Is that still a valid concern? Do you feel like
it's basically a William Ruto commission? But I'm of the view that even if it was his family and he was the chair himself, if we follow all the steps we are talking about, we can safeguard the vote. We have a lot to do with it ourselves. And this is the conversation. And I'm announcing to William Ruto and his ilk that even if you take over the IBC personally, like you take over most services, we will still floor you. We are ready this time. And we have enough time to get ready. So Kenyans, it's our duty. Let us not sit back and then blame one individual. One individual like Chebukati was able to do what he did because we allowed it. Let's not allow it this time. William Ruto and his regime are able to do what we do, what they do, because we allow it. What if we didn't even go to the streets to demonstrate? Because we have now known they are a killer machine. They are bloodthirsty. What if one day we said we've stopped all services? What if everybody of goodwill joined? We have the power. We, the people, always listen to that clause. We, the people, we have the power to transform, even without a single law being amended. And we must transform for our own sake, for future generations.
Is ODM in government or is it part of the United Opposition?
It is not part of us, and it is very much in government, and Raila has said it with his mouth, and many of his members have said it. They deny that they have a post-election pact, but they also refer to a document, to 10 points. That's an agreement which they have failed to to the registrar of political parties. So actually, I would tell my brother Raila that please don't continue with politics of dishonesty, because being in government with one leg and occupying committees that belong to the opposition, the Public Accounts Committee, 3 of them, Public Investment Committee, 3 of them, both in the Assembly, National Assembly and in Senate, you are obstructing the work of holding government to account. Go to government honorably as the law requires. Raila and ODM were in the forefront of campaigning for this constitution. It is very sad that at this point they are partners in destroying the constitutional order. So they are in government, however much they deny it. He even sits in cabinet retreats. We have seen him.
Yes.
And they have started to hold joint PGs. What do you call that? My brother Raila, do the honorable thing. Just deposit that agreement with the registrar. I think somebody will have to go to court to force it because they're not willing.
Lastly, as we head towards 2027, this last 2 years, what are we likely to see on the political stage as far as, because Kenyans are saying wanaumia na, it's like things are becoming difficult with every passing day. In your opinion, what do you think Kenyans will do towards 2027 in terms of even their support system and how they now receive politicians going forward?
For us as the united opposition, ours is to continue solidifying our unity, engaging the people, getting the widest reach of the people, and also welcoming more people to be united. If we are one solid block, we will be unassailable, whatever traps are there. But divided, we fall. And that's what I'm telling the people. Do not wait for perfect partners. A vote is a vote. Let's all be together. The only place we must be very careful, whom do we elect to the office for all the 6 offices? Are they people who can transform? You are the accountability partners as voters. Let's be in this together. Gather the vote together and be accountability partners in making sure that we have value-based leadership. And I leave it there.
Do you see a rainbow moment with what you're referring to as a united opposition?
Basically. And I see
that's
more
what you
people,
envision.
Yes, and I see more people coming into it. If you remember in 2002, when Raila Odinga led the walkout from Kanu, for which we thank him because the Kanu people would not have known how to walk out. He led the walkout, and that bloc came and joined with the NAK. The public just exhaled because they saw now we will overrun the Kanu regime, because people believed Kanu was unassailable. So the more we gather together, the more we are ready to overrun, the more we give confidence to the masses. I keep saying to my colleagues and to myself, when we see people coming out for the opposition leaders in the numbers they do when the tours are done, remember, it's because unity has given them hope. Try to scatter, and the people will also scatter. It is the hope that is bringing people together, and they're saying, yes, this way we can do it. Yeah. So let's keep hope alive. Let's keep solidifying the unity, and let's leave the doors open.
I like that. Thank you so much, Martha Karua, for coming through. It's been an absolute pleasure. So much that we've discussed, and we shall invite you again, even towards as we gear up to the election. We want to understand also some of the things that are happening within the united opposition. Maswali ambayo tutakuuliza baadaye when the time is right. But for now, thank you so much. Na ukirudi kule PLP, tutumie hizi vitenge hata si tuanze kuzivaa.
Nitamtumia.
Stop calling this thing kitenge. It is not kitenge.
What do I call it?
Ask the wearer.
African print.
Thank you very much.
Print.
Yes.
Yeah. But even
African
kitenge,
print,
because it's an African name,
yes,
I have no problem.
Kitenge is very distinct.
Okay.
Yes.
Kitenge
it's
is
like somebody saying batik.
Anavanga vitenge.
Okay, this is African print.
But Mheshimiwa, do you know he actually wears vitenge?
Yeah.
Niko na picha zake hapa akivaa
Yeah,
vitenge.
yeah, yeah. Good stuff.
Yes.
We must identify ourselves as Africans so that as I walk,
Yes.
someone says, ule ni Mwafrika.
All right.
And I'm proud of it. Thank you. And I'll remind Kenyans, unite, liberate. Ungana, komboa.
Here's the news with Winnie Maganga.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul. This is the Radio Generation News.
Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga. A post-mortem on the body of the late Faith Benzali, who died while on surgery table, has revealed that she died due to excessive use of anesthesia drugs, lack of enough oxygen in the brain. The autopsy also indicated excessive use of other medications before the surgery was done also led to her death. The 27-year-old Benzali died on Tuesday after undergoing a cesarean section at a hospital in Kangemi, Nairobi.
I've done the postmortem of the late Faith, and the cause of death is a lack of oxygen, what we call hypoxia, which happened in theater. And this could be a complication of the anesthetic which the patient was given in theater. So further analysis will be done in the government chemists.
Her family is demanding justice, calling out the hospital over negligence.
We suspected that the hospital could have acted with the hospitali ilifanya kwa kupuuza ama kwa kutofanya with a lot of expertized. I would say that ile masomo, ile kazi ambayo wamesomea.
Police have arrested 2 suspects in Lugari sub-county in connection with vandalism of railway infrastructure. The arrest followed a joint intelligence-led operation involving officers from Bungoma Railways, Kipkaren Railways Patrol Base and the Kenya Railways Corporation Security Unit. During the raid, police recovered 65 pandroll clips hidden inside a house. One of the suspects later implicated an accomplice accused of transporting the vandalized materials to an undisclosed dealer. A 15-year-old student from St. Albertina Kiongwani Girls High School in Makueni County has now returned to school after her suspension over possession of a chewing gum. The girl had been asked to bring enough chewing gums for all of the school's 580 students as punishment. Officials from the Ministry of Education met the school management and resolved the matter. Her mother, Virginia Mawewu, said the gum was accidentally left in the bag and that her daughter admitted to the oversight immediately.
The school has punished both the student and the parent because what fault has the parent done to demand for this high level of punishment in terms of monetary value. So we condemn it in the strongest terms as a commission.
Kenya's nominee for Consul General to Goma in DR Congo, Judy Kiaria, has defended her suitability after Kinshasa formally rejected her appointment. Kiaria said she will engage the DRC authorities to talk about their priorities so that they can understand that Kenyans are in support of their sovereignty. She acknowledged reports of initial opposition to the procedure of her nomination from Kinshasa, but assured members that she will rely on diplomatic channels to build rapport with DRC.
This is a very serious issue that deals with life and a geopolitical issue, as Honorable Caleb has mentioned. How will you maneuver the situation as it is at hand? Forget about the school for a moment. Let's focus on what you will do in Congo.
Having the agreement before the nomination is not mandatory, but it is supposed to be after this approval. That is where we are going to engage. And after this, if I'm given the opportunity, I shall fund my credentials, and I shall also be clear about the intentions of our country to DRC. I shall also try to contact the local authority in DRC.
Harambee Stars coach Benny McCarthy admits Kenya has a huge task in the remaining matches of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers ahead of today's match against Gambia at Kasarani. Harambee Stars' hopes were compounded after Gabon were in the same group hammered Seychelles 4-0 to leapfrog the Ivory Coast at the summit. Kenya is currently fourth with 6 points, having won 1 game, drawn 3 times and lost 1. Here's coach Benny McCarthy.
FIFA might come up with something, one team gets disqualified and then you get that pass through into the playoffs, and then anything is possible there. So I think you don't want to take for granted. So you just try, for our sake, is to play every game like it is our last game.
And that's the truth on Radio Generation. Good morning, I'm Winnie Maganga.
There was morning radio. But now there is Radio Generation's The People's Breakfast. Curious and bold, getting facts from the shadows.
That's what it is.
Now, as the city wakes and secrets stir, a bright new voice shines. The People's Breakfast. Your morning, your voice, your journey. Good morning.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Welcome to the home of hard truths and bold insights. Radio Generation.
Welcome back. It is 9:42 a.m. I never thought I'd actually start the show at 9:42 a.m. or the next part of the show at 9:42. Do you know we've actually held the presidential candidate and the leader of PLP hostage here for 40 minutes. She was supposed to leave at 9.
Time does fly when you're having a good time.
Tukaamua hauendi mahali mpaka ujibu maswali yote. Speaking of which, wacha tuangalie Wakenya wanasemaje hapa katika mtandao wetu ambao unajulikana kama YouTube. There's Eunice Kyoko. You guys need to be playing the news signature tune for 2 minutes. Sasa, how do I dance to 2 seconds of those beats? Don't worry. Don't worry, Eunice. We shall sort you out. Then we have Douglas Kibogong. Mbuvi, ask viewers in YouTube to share the channel. Well, Douglas, thank you for asking them on my behalf. Nancy Maina, patriarchy was rubbed in by religion negatively. She's responding to what the conversation we had earlier with Mary.
Yes.
Patriarchy was rubbed in by religion negatively. What do you think about that?
They're not wrong. You see, when somebody wants to implant their view, their values, one of the things they first do is they demonstrate to you that the values you have are nonsensical, and that what they're offering is better.
Okay.
And when you accept it, it means you'll be rejecting the values that you had. See? And they will present it as though all you're doing by accepting their values is improving on what you already have, when that is not necessarily the truth.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That was by. Mbona inapotea tena hiyo kitu? Nimerefresh alafu ikapotea. But I'm sure I'll find it. All right. So that was, that was Nancy Maina. Thank you so much, Nancy, for that comment. Jimmy Gakio, all my exes live in Texas. I'm not sure who or what he is responding to, but now we know that all his exes live in Texas. Then there's Sonnet. Hello, listening to the discussion with amusement. Thank you so much, Sonnet. Most realists think that one is an ATM. Again, responding to the previous conversation. I call it black tax. Oh yes. Eunice Kyoko again. Hizo boundaries kuna a very thin line sometimes, especially with family. Again, very true. Some aunties or uncles come stay with you over the weekend, then they leave a year later. How that happens, I also don't know. Caroline Onkeo. amazing conversations. Thank you so much, Caroline. Martin Hellington, I'm here for Madam President. That's the interview. Thank you so much. Good morning. One term siku zote, that is Boni Gatobu. Yeah, so Boni Gatobu and Madam President, same WhatsApp group. They are, singing the one term, slogan. Margaret Muley, a very insightful discussion. Eunice Kyoko comes back saying that she's my favorite politician. Boundaries are her thing since Baba na Mama days. Thanks Mahesh for standing out as the one consistent person in a sea of not so good politicians. What do you think about that statement?
The thing is this, and I raised the question,
yes,
because I needed to understand it. We seem to favor politicians whose stand on certain issues is fluid. They change, they say this, but they never really follow what they say with deeds. Now, when you have someone who actually, how often do you have people resigning?
Very rarely. Actually, we can count the number of public officials who've actually resigned.
Yes, you can.
So, on matters of principle.
Yes, exactly.
And integrity, yeah.
Yes, and that, hence the term Iron Lady. Somebody who, as they say in Kiswahili, akona msimamo. All right? Now, is it that we fear that such a person will bring change that will make us uncomfortable? Or is it that there's a narrative that is now transmitted by people who understand the threat that somebody who has such a position would bring to bear, and so they ensure that this person never goes beyond a certain position? Because if they do, then they fear that they will incur very many losses, and they do not wish to do that. Yes.
Okay.
This is the same age-old story of corruption in whatever form it may present itself, fighting back. Yes.
Okay. Then there's Isabel Zukule. A very insightful and thoughtful session. My takeaway: listen to your body, your spirit to set boundaries. What irritates you, what you feel forced to do is a sign. Move out. Thank you very much, Isabel. Adrian Terry. Tell Martha Karua to push IEBC to announce national elections, and thus campaign period will be on the 11th day of August 2026. It's the second Tuesday of the 5th year. Adrian and Willis seem to be reading from the same book, eh? Yeah, so tell Martha Karua to push IEBC to announce national elections. Kenyans need these manifestos early, not slogans of business environment. Again, that's Adrian Terry. Then Oliver Evusa amesema smart and sober leader. Flavor News TV wanasema we are together in Honorable Martha Karua. Indeed, she is a great leader. Sonet, Martha is always consistent and unwavering in her social political views. Always a pleasure to listen to her. Kenya, everybody waits. I guess there will be a lot of waiting for a very long time, 100 years. I don't know what Adrian is referring to in that one, but yeah. Yes, Pwani Economic Revolution. Amesema Martha Karua is the most suitable and consistent person for leadership. If adherence to the constitution was the key qualification, her ability to form a team to win the presidency is lacking. Okay, let me ask you this, City. Do you agree with the Pwani Economic Revolution? They have said Martha's ability to form a team to win the presidency is lacking. Ability to form a team.
I don't fully understand what it is that they're referring to, but what I do know, and this is my point of view, is that the opposition, as it's currently constituted, is not as effective as an opposition that hopes to take power should be. Yes.
Okay.
They are a work in progress. That is my view. Yes.
Okay. Eddie Awino ansema hivi. Martha carries herself out like the best person for this country, but she must also not forget how hard she fueled the 2007 rigging of elections. A hyena walking in a sheep cloth. What do you think Eddie Awino means?
There was a moment in KICC when the police and the GSU entered the counting hall. And Martha and William Ruto at that particular point, had some fairly heated arguments. William Ruto was in ODM then, okay? And it was the issue of Kivuitu announcing the election. This was televised.
Yes.
That's how come I know it. So it is from that point of view that they refer to her as somebody who helped fuel the problem with that particular election.
Yes.
Yes. Let me put it to you this way. When you're a political animal, there'll be things in your history that you'd rather not even recall. Because at the moment in time, you probably thought that you were serving some good. And perhaps with hindsight, you realize you could have done better.
Okay.
That always happens with all of us. At that time, the decision that you're making, and even when we had external individuals coming to help us quell our problems in 2008, she was also at the very forefront of those negotiations. And she was a very, very strong supporter of her side. And there are those who argue that that the position that she took even with the then UN leader Kofi Annan was something that even Kofi Annan complained about. See, now, there is a very thin line between somebody who's an enthusiastic supporter for their side and somebody who is decidedly just being difficult. See, but it was a political situation and it was a competition. So in a competition, do you run slowly so that other people will catch up with you, or do you continue pushing and running as fast as you can?
Of course, you create distance.
Yes. So politically, how do you create distance? You make sure that you present your side in the way that will advantage you. Now, if the other side doesn't take the time to present themselves in a way that advantages them, that actually isn't your problem. Now, again, interpretations of such situations often are emotional because we all know what happened. We all saw what happened. And we all know what brought Kofi Annan and all those eminent leaders to Kenya. We disagreed on an election result and it turned extremely violent and extremely bloody. It is something Kenyans had never thought they would see, but they did.
Okay. Agake Akaya ansema hivi. Maraga is an ideal president in an ideal country where everybody is a saint and most probably Seventh-day Adventists.
No. This man was president of the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court was not a Seventh Adventist gathering, okay? And he stands out as one of the most remarkable Chief Justices we'll ever have. Okay? Simply because he did something that was assumed his predecessor ought to have done. Yes, but did not. Okay? Elections and the results in this country.
You know, I cannot wait to see what will happen in 2027.
Why?
Once results are announced. Because picture this. Right now people are saying, oh, Ruto is very unpopular. And we can see some evidence of that because of what we are seeing on social media, what we are reading in the papers. But in terms of actual statistics, I haven't seen any. And this is just me being a devil's advocate because I want us to be, number one, realistic and have realistic expectations. So if 2027 President Ruto is announced as the winner, he has been re-elected, I honestly want to see the reaction at that time and what people will actually say. If someone from the United Opposition actually clinches the presidency, again, that will be something, it will be a marvel, like a wow moment. Here, you get. Then if someone from the United Opposition doesn't, or President William Ruto doesn't clinch or reclinch that seat, and then, someone else, an unknown factor, well, not really unknown, but let's say someone like Maraga. I don't know if Maraga will join the United Opposition Forum. I don't know whether he's already there. Maybe, perhaps, we shall find out in due time. But if Maraga wins this election, do you know that's another story altogether?
How would he win the election, actually?
By campaigning and people voting for him.
No.
How else would he win the election?
Has the thing is, something that we like to deny is that our electioneering and our voting patterns are tribal. They are tribal.
Oh, yes, they are.
You already have two presidential candidates in his neck of the woods. Okay?
Wait, when do?
Maraga is a Kisii, Matiang'i is a Kisii.
Okay.
And
I actually thought you said apart from Maraga kuna wengine wawili.
no,
I thought
there are two candidates.
I thought
here and Matiang'i.
I thought Morara Kebaso has awoken or someone else.
The thing is this: it is not spoken of, but people win presidential elections by first starting off with a support base.
Yes.
What is his support base?
You're asking Maraga's support base?
Yes, what is it?
Oh, it's not rhetoric?
No, I'm asking a question because
yeah,
it could be rhetoric, it could be responded to. Look at every political leader whom we know of. They have a support base. And that support base are the people who speak the same language as him.
So you're saying for Kalonzo, for example, in Ukambani,
he starts there, then he has other people in his party who are elected on his party ticket who do not speak that language. But it starts. If your own people can't support you, why would other people want to support you?
How do you know that the Kisii community is not supporting Maraga or hasn't supported? How do you know?
The moment you have 2 or 3 people in that same community, what is guaranteed is the votes will be divided.
Okay.
How they will be divided, I cannot tell you.
Okay.
But they will be divided. Okay.
So can I say that then Maraga's support is SDAs?
That is narrow, and it's also profiling.
No,
Maraga.
Listen.
No. We are having a discussion. This is not an accusation. I'm just stating that it is profiling because Maraga stands for something. And how he does is because he made a pronouncement nobody ever thought we would hear. That one pronouncement changed very many things in our politics, the way we conduct ourselves with regards to election, because you now know there's a possibility of an election being nullified. That's it. He set a precedent. That's what it's called. Okay? That makes him stand out. Okia Omtata wants to stand. All right? Now, whether the people of Busia will elect him again is still in question.
Okay.
Because the problem that we have as Kenyans is we have never weaned ourselves out of that mentality that a leader is supposed to bring you development and bring you things.
Yes.
The understanding of representation, which in my opinion is a much bigger thing, is not considered as a thing.
Okay.
You have not given us anything by representing us. Because the language of politicians also has to do with what they will bring. So that narrative holds sway.
All right.
So now, when you talk about Maraga, I will ask the constituency that supports him, which one is it?
All right.
The base, which one is it?
Nimekwambia wa Kisii umewa reject, nikawaambia SDA ukasema ni kuwa profile. Sasa basi si.
So you're having a discussion. Continue suggesting, and so that I can actually respond. Continue. He's an old man, so old people will support him.
And also kwa old, you still have to divide those votes because there are those who are not necessarily going to support it because they're going to be supporting someone from their tribe. But I mean, I get your point, and it's a valid one. So if I was to ask you a random person, who else is in the opposition? Wamalwa, who support system yake ni gani ama support base yake ni gani? Wabukusu.
Yes.
Okay.
He has other people from other communities. The way our politics works, you start with the support base from the people who speak your language. Then other people join. It's like that. Just look at any political, just pick randomly. That is the case. Ford Kenya.
Yes.
It's a Western Kenya party predominantly. But there are other people who are Ford Kenya around the country. Okay? You have to have a support base. So the question I'm asking is precisely that.
Okay.
Yes. Anyone who wants to vie for the presidential seat, that's the question I'll ask. Your support base, what exactly is it? Define it for us so that we understand it.
Yes. City, we've come to the end of the show.
We have, huh?
It is now exactly
and
about...
we have come to the end of the week.
Yes. Yes, we have. Leon Taretano, thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in today. Thank you to our guests that did show up today. And thank you for the people actually who contributed to the conversations, whether you contributed by watching, or you contributed by sending in your questions, or you contributed by retweeting. We really, really thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We are going to take a short break until Monday. That's when we shall be back. Is that short? I mean, it's a long one. It's short, isn't it?
It's short.
It is a short break. So we're taking a short break. We'll see you on Monday bright and early, but right now we shall leave you in the safe hands of Winnie Maganga. Atawapatia news, alafu after that kuna wajamaa anaitwa Brian Odor and a lady called Rania. They're going to be taking you through the retro box. Later on you shall have DJ Abstract and Madam Diana, we call her Auntie Mado, in this studio. I hope anajitanga hivyo pia on air. Auntie Mado ata come through, and then of course in the evening you shall have the wind down, Halaiki na best yake BFF Emmanuel Kisiangani, and then we shall see you again on Monday bright and early at exactly 6 in the AM. Until that time, it's been real. Hasta la vista.
Radio generation, the sound is fine. Pump it up, turn it high all the time. Let the music move you, let's sway. Radio G's got your jam all day.
Radio Generation, the home of urban soul.